makes it metaphorically great.
I think that's the only way that Jay will talk about the NFL is if he talks about it in a song, and maybe he does it on some 444 type style where he's sunning us a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, but see, and that's the other thing too. Think about what he's had the twins since then, right?
Yeah,
or was that right around the same time they were? Nobody knows. He kept that very under wraps, which is cool. Like I'm with hell. Like I said, y'all have seen my daughter, but outside of that, ain't nobody seen my child.
You want a crazy thing about that? I was telling the wife, I'm like, yo, no pictures, dog. Like we can take them, but I'm not trying to hop on the socials and see my kid on like a family member's page. They're getting an angry phone call.
I had to call my brother about that, man. He put up a throwback of and we're talking. My daughter's birthday is December 4th.
Yeah. Jay-Z Day.
Yeah, and so Christmas, obviously, she's 3 weeks old, and like he threw up a picture a couple weeks ago of us celebrating that first Christmas, and it's a picture of me holding. And then, like I said, my other brother's got my nephew is like 6 months older than her. And
okay.
Like, he put up a picture, and I had to fucking text him. I said, "Hey, man," I said, "don't put any pictures up of Mariana." Like, and it's not that I understood it was an honest mistake on his end, but I told him, "Look, I don't even put pictures of her up, so I would just appreciate if you did." You know, I let her.
Didn't you put up that picture in the snow, or is that a story?
Who?
When the picture in the snow, or did you just send that to the group?
I sent it to the group.
Because I remember showing it to the wife, and I'm like, hold on, how did I get that picture? But
I sent it to the group. And here's the thing, her mom obviously has a picture of her on her first birthday on her page, but and hers is a little different just because she doesn't know the same people I know. So like,
yeah, I get it. It's like, for one, you can't control what the mother does, but like within your circle, it's like, hey, I don't want my kid.
We're together and we out. It's cool. You can videotape, do whatever. Just don't throw up a story giving a shout outs to me and my daughter. You know what I mean? Let's keep her away, keep her out of the public. I just don't like the idea of like.
Isn't today Mooch's birthday? Or was that yesterday?
It is. Happy birthday to Mooch.
Happy birthday, Mooch. I forgot to send that text to the group. I was
9 years old, man. That is so crazy. I remember when that little girl was born.
Bro, that is actually nuts. She's almost 10. Shit. Yeah, but hey, man, we're going to talk ball. We're going to talk ball today. We've talking about family and kids, but we got to talk football, man, because football season's right around the corner. I mean, we're not going to have a weekend without football until like February.
I know. Isn't it lovely?
It is. I don't know if I'm going to start watching it yet, but it's going to be on.
I'm desperate. I mean, I am so desperate. Homer Simpson once said this once in an AA meeting on an episode of The Simpsons. He said, "I was once so desperate for a beer that I snuck up under the bleachers of like a baseball game and ate the sand." And so I am borderline that desperate for football to where, and especially with our Falcons, because there's uncertainty finally at about.
We are all here to do what Falcons do. Look at that.
I am so pumped about it because I know that we're not supposed to be good, and I don't expect us to be good. But with preseason, we at least get to see there's true position battles going on pretty much at every position except nose tackle. We know that that's Grady, and we know CB1 and CB2 are locked down with AJ Terrell and Hayward. So those positions are locked in. Like, those are the only positions that we can say are locked in. We don't know who the starting running back is going to be.
I think Drake London
no idea who the quarterback's going to be, but
I think Drake London's comfortable at X this year.
You know that they literally, I do too, but you know what's funny? They dropped the first unofficial depth chart because it is game week, and he's got him fifth string. Now, obviously, this is a rookie thing. It's not given, it's earned. And I get where Arthur Smith's coming from, but he's not fooling even the guys, the veterans that are in there. You don't draft a guy 8th, and he's going to be not starting. So he can do that for.
And if you do, your job. You might be on the hot seat, buddy.
It's
Terry.
It's exactly. It's bulletin board material for them to kind of motivate them to say, yeah, we got to get. Oh, my bad. And we know who tight end one is, obviously.
Well, I'm looking at it right now. Unless this is fake, we got Mariota's QB1, Cordero RB1, Drake London wide receiver 1, Brian Edwards.
Go to the Falcoholic.
Okay, on Instagram or on just on the website.
They try and put it on. Go to online. Go to the Falcoholic because they put it on there.
I've got to get better with following my Falcons page because I was, you know what, when I make this Atlanta move, you know, we've got to. Do you think in 15 years we could be like the real Atlanta super fans?
Yeah, and I think that we could sell the show to if 92.9 is still the flagship. They got 5 shows on there now daily, and there's a lane for that. I think that the idea, especially if you do take because they do those type of classes, them radio classes, you take an official one plus with what you have, like you got the podcast literally, right? And for me, let's say I take it and then it's like combined, but we're fans and it's the fan show. Yeah. It literally could be, that's a legit show. And you get to hear the no nonsense, no BS take on it. We're not, I guess even though it's on the flagship, maybe they are. I don't know if the Falcons have anything to do with their money. Probably to a degree, even though I feel like CBS is who buys it.
But here's the thing. We can balance some of that out because you're more of the emotional fan than I am. So we provide that.
I definitely got a little bit more emotion into it.
So we can provide that like counterbalance in the conversation where I think it's still something that you can sell because like your Michael Vick take, that works on radio. Your Matt Ryan, Michael Vick take, that's MJ LeBron in Atlanta sports radio. You can run that any day of the week, any time of the year, and you're going to get calls.
I will die on that hill.
I mean, you shouldn't have to.
I will die. I'll die on it because nobody can change my mind, especially because Vick's career is over. So we know what that is. And Matt's is still going. And even if Matt Ryan called it a quits tonight, Matt Ryan's been better than Michael Vick. And for anyone to think that he didn't have a better career in Atlanta, they're delusional. And nobody said Matt Ryan was as popular in Atlanta. Even though I don't beg to differ on that, but like he was more popular to me because he ran for a decade and a half. Vick bought the sizzle to the Falcons. He bought the national eye here. I feel like the national eye, even when Dion was here, you had that 98 team. But outside of that, you know, you had the too legit to quit Falcons, I guess. Like, and Dion was on that team. So like
Vick would have had us on first take if that thing existed, right?
Michael Vick was the first Falcon and first, in my opinion, Atlanta athlete to where if you went to Miami, not during football season, we're walking around and somebody was wearing a jersey, it's a chance they're wearing a Michael Vick jersey. Yeah. I don't think that you got that with any other athlete. He was a superstar. Even if his play was exciting. His style was exciting. I don't think his numbers were superstars, but
I mean, Cam Newton falls into that same category where hold on, hear me out.
Go.
The stardom of the persona and the stardom of the player is bigger than what they did on the field in their production.
Facts. I can agree with that. And I feel like, I hate to say it, Cam gets a lot of his, in my opinion. He had his time in the NFL. I think a lot of it comes from that year at Auburn too. I mean,
absolutely.
I think that.
But Michael Vick too. Like he was God in cleats at Virginia Tech.
He was, but he got way more popular in the NFL.
Yeah, but he rode the college wave to the NFL.
Yes.
Same as Cam.
That's the number one pick, right? Yeah. And
you know what they have
Damian Thomason instead? Cam, in terms of his personality and persona was much bigger than the play.
Well, yeah, and
then he had the dab. And even though the Migos, I know the Migos they're the culture, right? Culture, 1, 2.
Yeah, 2, 3.
Yeah.
I mean, Offset, who I don't think he's Amigo anymore. Hey, you want to hear something funny about Offset?
I'm confused now.
So I don't even know why they're going by Unconfused. Because when Offset was in prison, they was the Migos without him, right?
Yeah.
But I was having a conversation about the Migos and Offset. Let me see if I can find it real quick.
Like the Foo Fighters are Nirvana without Kurt Cobain, right? Makes a lot of sense why they retired that, because Nirvana, Kurt Cobain, was the lead singer. Really was, not just the voice of, he was the popularity of it. But then David Grohl and the other guys start the Foo Fighters, and then David Grohl becomes a singer. Now they're the Foo Fighters.
I was talking to one of my partners about the Migos. He said, Offset, he cool but not needed. Quavo's the hook god. Takeoff flow is effortless. Offset sound like a feature sometimes.
He's the best overall Migo, in my opinion. He he can do the hooks and can give you the bars.
So I get real conflicted.
Cardi B.
I get, yeah. He married.
He's married to. I'm sorry,
yeah,
he's married to Cardi B. Yeah.
I get conflicted with it because at first, I was a big Takeoff fan. Like, I just feel like Takeoff flows crazy. I don't think he cared about rap as much. And Offset, when they first started, he was terrible. Like, Offset was trash.
I agree.
And then he went to prison that last time, and he got good when he came out.
He got good, and like I said, their biggest hit, Bad and Bougie. It's practically Takeoff's not on it.
Nah, but Quavo, his verses was mean.
Yeah, that way. The quotable, but Offset gives you the hook.
Woo, woo, woo.
Yeah. Records on records on records.
Cool.
Right.
Anyways, we're talking football. Let's talk
from you, bitch, I'm a dog.
Chris Brown said Quavo in 21 running from this smoking basketball. Because Chris Brown is like the best celebrity athlete.
Really?
Yeah. That he used to play at the you remember the pro-am game they have at Morehouse? Celebrity game? Yeah, that nigga be in there dunking.
I didn't know he was nasty, but it makes sense. He's really good on his feet, obviously. So
yeah, he be doing flips and shit on stage.
Yeah, so I'm sure he's got footwork. He's 6'4", probably 6'3". Chris Brown's pretty good height.
I know he got muscles too. You know what I'm saying? He ain't like one of them rappers who like just grew up in the street their whole life and has no muscle definition. Like Meek Mill. You look at Meek Mill. Ain't nothing athletic about Meek Mill. We're supposed to be talking all football today, and we're talking celebrities.
Well, it went there from the dab with Cam and the Vick Matt Ryan thing, but no, he's
6-1.
It's football season, and like I said, I'm desperate for it. So I'm very pumped that I won't have a week where I don't talk about football until the second week of February.
We're still going to talk about it then because it's going to be post football, post Super Bowl.
Black Friday, Monday. We'll be talking about who's getting what job.
Basketball will still be boring unless something weird happens with the Lakers.
Well, we'll be headed into All-Star break, so we'll know the trade deadline right there. And
yeah,
Bron, depending on what happens, if they're saying all he has to do is average 16 a game this season, if he's doing similar to what he did, if he's averaging 26, he might be getting ready to break that record around that time too, maybe a little after.
True.
Yeah.
But so before we get into our division by division deep dive in our big topic we got looming, what are you looking forward to this season in football? NFL.
A lot of things. If I have to pick one, of course I'm gonna
Is it the guy whose jersey you're wearing?
Yeah, honestly. I'm probably looking forward to most to seeing what Matt Ryan does in Indianapolis. Coming from a Falcons fan that always thought he was undervalued here, and I just look at the team that he's going to, as long as they're healthy, I don't see how he's not successful. And I think that the fact that he's getting a lot of things that he's had maybe one by one at one point in his career, but never all together, is going to be special to see. And I think that everyone here will get to, have their own glass of their own, like, they're going to have to drink that shit, man. And I just really am excited to see what they do. And I want to see how far that goes. Another thing, of course, I want to, I'm not expecting much of the Falcons. So I'm not, I'm excited to see if Desmond Ridder is who some people, for whatever reason, think he is. I actually hope that he can prove me wrong. Because if he is good, then we've got good value as a third pick, as opposed to drafting a guy first, and then when that fifth-year option comes, we got to pay him probably when that time comes. His shit will be $45 million or something like that. And so, like, I hope that I'm wrong, but knowing what I know and knowing what I saw, I don't think that he's our guy.
Yeah, he'll probably be our backup. I think most Falcons fans, the Vick Falcons fans, kind of deserve the Michael Vick, not Vic Beasley Falcons fans.
Those exist.
Yeah, bro, I'm from Bartow County.
Well, yeah,
they absolutely exist. I'm one of them.
The guys are there guys that still wear Vick jerseys up there? Beasley 44s.
Yeah, VJ, he still got a Vick jersey,
and he rocks it.
I ain't gonna go that far.
Is it an NFL throwback? Is it a Mitchell and Ness throwback? Or
come on, man, I'm trying to get an interview with him.
Hey, I ain't got nothing but love for Vick. He's the only Falcon to probably ever lead the NFL in sacks. So he will finally be remembered for that Super Bowl season for sure.
Fair. But I think a lot of Falcons fans deserve Matt Ryan to go do well and for us to be terrible, because I don't think Falcons fans realize, don't get me wrong, 3rd and long, he's getting sacked in Atlanta. We knew that's happening.
Yeah.
But I don't think our fans deserved or even understood what Matt Ryan was doing for us. Like these last couple of years, like we were so bad and they thought he was the reason that we were bad, but no, he was the reason that we were competent, that we won 7 games last year.
The reason why national pundits like Colin Cowherd last year would say, I think the Falcons are going to make the playoffs this year.
Yeah, like we were frisky because of Matt Ryan.
He, if you remember when he did his last year, he said, I think the Falcons go 9-8. And then who was it? It was on Bill Simmons on the Ringer podcast. It's him and Zach Lowe, I think. One of them came out and was like,
what's his name?
11 games.
Peter Schrager.
He was the reason anyone had any type of optimism to even say some shit like that. Because the thought was, if the defense can just hold up and be decent and his O-line is together, and, Mike Davis was all right in Carolina. They signed.
And if Calvin Ridley plays?
Huh?
And if Calvin Ridley plays?
Right. If Kyle Pitts is what he got drafted to be, which he pretty much, did for the most part, this team could be good. And so now that's not a conversation, and it won't be until we know what we have at quarterback. And so, which we do know what we have, but
beige bullshit. We have beige bullshit quarterback. Marcus Mariota, beige bullshit. And Desmond Ridder, beige bullshit. And Felipe Franks, if he touches the field, I need a refund on my tickets.
he's got to make it through preseason game 3 because he could get cut by then. He's tight end now, so
that's why I think he stays on the roster, because he's
squad.
He's bad. Taysom Hill.
Practice squad. I don't even think he's on the 52. He wasn't on the 52 last year. I think maybe he was active for a game or two, but like for the most part, he's practiced. Because remember, Josh Rosen was the backup.
Yeah, he looked good.
And we didn't carry 3 quarterbacks.
He looked good in the preseason last year too.
He's unemployed currently.
The NFL rooted against Josh Rosen, and I honestly think that's why he's unemployed.
They succeeded, man. I thought he had the goods coming out. I mean,
bro, we've talked about this multiple times.
SOB.
I was like,
he was already rich. Like,
I was like, he's gonna be the best quarterback out of this class. And I guess, I mean, we could say he's the worst, but I mean, Sam Darnold's not far.
I can tell you where I missed completely, but I was a big fan even after his rookie year because y'all weren't big fans of him after that Texans-Bill game. Josh Allen was somebody I was like, I have no reason why anyone is thinking about taking him because you remember at one point it was rumored some people thought he could go on, and I was thinking to myself,
how?
Like 49% completion percentage, and I get it, Wyoming, he's got Wyoming receivers, but like. And I saw the tools that they're saying. Like, I looked at him, like, rolling out, and I'm like, he is a big quarterback, and he clearly does have a strong arm. But what is making anyone think that this is truly going to translate to the – like, he's inaccurate. So, like, man, that motherfucker can ball.
You know, I think that's a good segue into our first topic, right? So, NFL sports media is talking about the new Brady – and Manning rivalry, Mahomes and Josh Allen. And it makes me sick because I go, you're talking about arguably the top two quarterbacks to ever play the game. In some people's rankings, those are 1 and 2. You're talking about what?
Of the last 30 years, it is.
I mean, you're talking about what? 8 MVPs? 8 Super Bowls?
3.
Huh?
Yeah, 5 and 3, 9 Super Bowls.
Yeah, 9 Super Bowls. You know,
countless Pro Bowls.
Pro Bowls.
I bet while they were both in the league that there was never a year since whatever Manning's first year as a Pro Bowler was that there was whatever Manning's first year as a Pro Bowler was up until Manning retired. I bet there wasn't a year where neither of them were selected to the Pro Bowl.
Right, and just think about all the AFC championships they played in.
They played each other 5 times, and Manning won 3 of them.
Brady's definitely had some good Botox.
How wild is that, though?
It's nuts.
They played each other 5 times, and Manning actually has the upper hand.
Yeah, but Brady has.
Yeah, well,
7.
Yeah.
You know, was it 15-time Pro Bowl? Just 3-time All-Pro, 7-time Super Bowl. That's Brady. You know, like, come on, man.
And Manning's probably, if Brady is only a 3-time All-Pro, Manning's got, well, he's got 5 MVPs, so we know he's at least got 5. I'd say, I'll go and just say 6, but probably 7, huh?
Give me 1 second. I'm pulling it up. 5 MVPs, 2 Offensive Player of the Year, 7-time first-team All-Pro, 3-time second-team All-Pro, 14 Pro Bowls, 3-time passing leader, 4 times touchdown leader, 3 times passing rate leader, 2-time NFL completion percentage leader, 2000s All-Decade team, 100th anniversary all-time team. Come on, man.
Yeah. 2 Ring of Honors, both numbers retired for both franchises he played for.
Yeah, bro, like
Super Bowl to both.
Like, it's disrespectful to the greatness of Peyton Manning and Tom Brady to compare any quarterback rivalry against him.
In history.
Like, yeah. I don't want to hear Steve Young versus Troy Aikman. I don't want to hear
You could do fucking Brett Favre versus
Steve Young, Troy Aikman.
Yeah.
You put that threesome together, and you know what? Brady and Manning are fucking better.
Yeah, you'd still rather have those 2 than to have to pick from any of those 3.
Yeah, like it.
And it doesn't matter who you pick. You say, okay, well, here, while you figure out which one of those 3 you want to pick, because you've got to talk about, well, does he have this? In Troy Aikman's case, does he have a great running game? Does he have a good wide receiver, good tight end, all-time offensive line? Steve Young, well, does he have all of Joe Montana's toys? You know, those are the type of conversations you have to have when you're talking about that end. Peyton Manning and Tom Brady, you know what we're doing, Lee? It doesn't matter which one.
Right.
Hell, I don't want to think about which one. Just give me one. It doesn't really matter. I'm winning.
You talk 1983 draft, right? That's John Elway, Jim Kelly, Dan Marino. Where Brady and Manning at? Hey, quick side note: the '83 draft. John Elway, Eric Dickerson, Bruce Matthews, Jim Kelly, Dan Marino, Darryl Green, Richard Dent, and then Jim Covert, who's a tackle that we don't care about, but 8 Hall of Famers stacked. But yeah, Brady, Mahomes and Josh Allen are Mahomes and Josh Allen. This is not Brady and Manning reloaded. It's disrespectful to the greats. It's disrespectful to 2 of the best quarterbacks I've ever seen do it. I was listening to Asante Samuel on I Am Athlete. He's hell, by the way. He said he didn't lift weights and he didn't watch film.
Who?
Asante Samuel.
He did. How did he get away with that playing for Bill Belichick? I'm curious.
Apparently, he had a very contentious relationship with Bill Belichick because he was Phi, and they knew he was Phi, which is why he ended up getting up out of there. But like he said, he like obviously watched team film that he had to watch because I mean he ain't got no choice.
Well,
But he played off tendencies and alignment. And he was like, well, there's only this many NFL routes that go outside. So most of my routes are going to go inside. And if they try to go up top, like I'm faster than them, so they're not going to beat me up top. Like he had this weird formula of how he like played corner. And obviously it worked really well.
borderline Hall of Famer.
His picks say he should be a Hall of Famer, but he didn't tackle.
What do the Pro Bowls say? Let me see.
You look, yeah. But you got to sometimes.
4-time Pro Bowler.
How many times All Pro?
1. Well, 2. Well, first team once, second team once. 2 times.
He won't get it. He won't get in. But his pick.
2-time interception leader.
How many times?
2 times. And this is in a 10-year career. He only played 10 years.
So
remember, we got him at the very end, and he was like, I guess CB1. It was him and Houston.
Was it him and Houston or him and Duncan?
Dante Robinson, yeah.
Let's talk about walking.
But you know what? It's funny. That Falcons team went to the NFC Championship. I mean, they held it together well enough to where we could have won the Super Bowl for sure.
They did.
They were just overpaid.
True. But back to these quarterbacks real quick as we wind it up and start breaking down the divisions, man. You just got to respect, like, you know how some people say that there's just never going to be an MJ. You can compare people to anybody, but you leave MJ in his own separate conversation. I don't subscribe to that personally, but a lot of people do. I think that's what the Brady Manning rivalry is. Bro, you got to keep that shit over there. Like, this right here, it could become that. But it's not that. It's way too premature, and we shouldn't have that conversation for at least 10 to 15 years.
These guys have played each other in the playoffs twice. That's it.
And what?
And we got an instant classic game last season. It was, I think,
terrible defense.
I think we can all agree it was the best football game last year. It was by far the best football game I watched last year, and it's because of how it ended. It was just fucking pandemonium. I mean, that Bengals Chiefs game was pretty good too. It was just sloppy play by Mahomes. But and hell, at that point,
and Mahomes
Joe Burrow into it potentially being.
Yeah, bro. I think my boy Burrow, Big Balls Burrow,
year 3. I mean, and he got hurt in year 1, and last year was first full year, and he went to Arrowhead and won, and was this close to beating a superstar Rams defense.
I mean, they're really a bad call away from winning that game. Like that call that got him the first down was terrible.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I think that we're giving Josh Allen way too much respect, just like we're giving another quarterback way too much respect, but we'll get to him a little bit later. Let's talk AFC East. You know, we're talking Josh Allen. Let's talk about the AFC East. You know, the Bills are the favorites to win the division, obviously. But let's just start with the Pats, man. What the hell is Bill Belichick doing with their offense? Matt Patricia, Joe Judge, 2 coaches who are not traditionally offensive coaches, as his offensive coordinator and quarterback coach. You have a second-year quarterback, and your best quarterback coach is probably Brian Hoyer, your backup quarterback. What is Bill doing? Is he just trying to tell the world he's smarter than them? Or has he become so smart that he's become delusional?
I think that Bill is at this point where, a lot of people didn't expect. What did they went 10-7 last year?
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people expected that. Even with Mac Jones, who came off a really good year, national championship, Alabama. I don't think that I didn't think the Patriots were gonna, because remember, actually a year ago, people were talking about when does Mac Jones take over for Cam Newton. This motherfucker Bill was like, we're cutting Cam. And threw it out there like before. I think Cam played and he did really well in that first preseason game because I remember watching it. But he cut him right in the middle of preseason. Yeah. And so I think Bill's got a method to his madness. And I won't question it because even though we've only seen 2 years post Brady and Brady's already got a championship without him, I still think that Bill Belichick's in a class of his own as a coach. And Bill might be having just a poker face, man. And maybe he's just not letting everybody really know what's going on in that building. I mean, even with B Flow, remember B Flow's title wasn't defensive coordinator, but he was the de facto defensive coordinator because he called defensive plays, but that wasn't his title. His title was like defensive special assistant and linebackers coach or something, but he was calling the defense. So in the Super Bowl that year when they held the Rams to 3 points. And so I think that Bill's just giving us a poker face. We don't really know what's going on at Patriots camp. We know that Mac Jones is slimmed down, and
the offense is looking bad.
We gotta wait and see. The Patriots have, and I get it, Tom Brady was the quarterback. The Patriots have always done things the Patriots way with guys that are unsung that nobody really knows about, and they always won games. And Tom Brady being the only outlier Patriot. I mean, they had great defensive players, but, it's not like Teddy Bruschi was the number 5 pick in the draft coming out, and everybody was like, this guy's a fucking Hall of Famer.
Man, look, Teddy Bruschi is
in Georgia. All right, he just got into Hall of Fame, right? Richard Seymour was good. But I'm just saying, it's not like he gets these superstar guys.
Bruschi's he's
keep rings.
He's your quintessential do it all for the team guy, play through a concussion because it's all about the team and the Patriot way guy. Like that's who Teddy Bruschi is, overachiever.
And his name is Teddy Bruschi. Like his last name is Bruschi. So
sounds like the New England guy.
No choice but to root for him out there in Boston.
So did you hear Cowherd's take on this?
No.
He thinks that Bill is trying to sabotage the franchise because Robert Kraft made him get rid of Jimmy G. And he pretty much is like, hey, I'm Bill Belichick. I know football. You let me do this football shit, Robert Kraft.
I know that he didn't know that Jimmy G would be available today, but I don't know. That's just theory. It's just theory. I don't think that, because here's the thing, Bill can lose. He can lose games and it not affect, just like Greg Popovich right now. It doesn't really matter if Greg Popovich is winning 30 games a year in San Antonio because he's already cemented as who he is. He can't even really make his resume much better. So
let me throw something at you. Again, some more shit I'm stealing from Cowherd, right? I want to get your take on it.
Go for it.
If Bill Belichick is just average for the rest of his career, Andy Reid wins 3 Super Bowls and retires on a high, do people say Andy Reid's the best coach ever, greatest coach ever?
No.
I agree with you.
He lost way too much. For the longest, I mean, Andy couldn't get over the hump. It took beating Michael Vick and Jim Moore to get to that point in Philly for them to finally get to the Super Bowl. Not to mention
management's trash.
Not to mention just a Falcons franchise that was notoriously not winners. So, and Donovan McNabb was a better at the time. And they had Terrell Owens. There was a lot going. Brian Dawkins is a top 5 strong safety of all time. He
That
does.
was Donovan
They had a
McNabb
bunch
and
of
Hummels.
guys on that team, on those Eagles team. I mean, the Eagles were stacked, and they still weren't winning. They fell short of it. So no, I don't think so. Especially even with Patrick Mahomes. I know everybody could make the Bill Belichick argument with Brady or whatever. Bill won 2 Super Bowls as a defensive coordinator for the Giants, and so I don't think that it's a good comparison, even if he were to win, because he's only got 1, right, Andy?
Yeah.
So 3 more. Let's say he wins 3 and 6 out of the next 6 years, he gets 3. No, I just no, no.
Right,
Bill Belichick coached a team to 16-0. I know they didn't win the Super Bowl, but let's not forget that there's only been one team. There's only been 2 teams in NFL history that have went undefeated in the regular season, and they did it with more games and different rules and
different competition.
Yeah, man. It's
so I heard it and I go, I'll tell you what. Here's what I hate about the media, mainstream media, is they have their views, and their views really taint history, because the way he painted it is like, no great movie has a terrible ending, no great book has a terrible ending. But if Bill Belichick has a terrible ending to his career, people will misremember it. But his sustained greatness, I think, will trump the end, just like Greg Popovich's sustained greatness will trump the end, because smart people realize that the Brady versus Belichick argument is not an indictment on Bill Belichick's resume. Like, if you really understand how coaching, how winning championships work, it's great coaches and great players. That's how you win multiple championships. And if you don't have both, it won't happen. So to sit here and say, who is more important, Brady or Belichick? That's stupid TV talk. It's not a real conversation. Because Belichick is not the great coach that he is by his record and his accomplishments if he doesn't have players like Tom Brady to do his bidding, to carry out the plan of the day, to be that leader and to be the GOAT, like GOAT player, GOAT coach. And Popovich ain't Popovich without Tim Duncan. But the thing that makes the Popovich and the Spurs organization great, and the thing that makes the Patriots great, is that they were good on the edges, on the margins. They could turn Julian Edelman
into a Super Bowl
MVP. They could turn Manu Ginobili into a Hall of Fame player. You know what I mean?
Deion Branch into a Super Bowl MVP.
Troy Brown into a corner wearing number 80.
Can be on the field and see the Seahawks get to the 2-yard line and not call a timeout. Keep your personnel out there and have an undrafted player out of Alabama State make the play of the Super Bowl, one of the best plays in Super Bowl history, and get you a ring.
And knew the play before it was called.
He had an undrafted player on the field in the Super Bowl he wasn't a rookie in his second year.
And then
was he a rookie? I don't even remember if Malcolm Butler was a rookie.
It doesn't matter.
Regardless, an undrafted guy on the field and not calling a timeout and just having the defense run what they knew, what he prepared them for.
So you, like me, you just go with, what? Bill Belichick knows so much football. I can't comfortably question what he's doing right now. Like, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt.
And the sustained excellence and consistency is more than just the idea of, the Spurs went to the playoffs 17 or 18 straight years. Belichick and Brady, that era, they never had a losing season, which a lot of people don't realize that. And they only missed the playoffs that one year, and only twice did they not win the division. Actually, they did make the playoffs twice. 97, 9-7 and 02, the year after the first Super Bowl, and then 11-5 when Brady was out. They went 11-5 without Tom Brady anyways. And got Matt Castle paid. And eventually being the quarterback for Andy Reid before they got Alex Smith. And so, look, like you just said in the previous conversation, there's certain guys you just can't have a conversation with. They're not in the same league. It's not comparable. There's only one coach, I think, just because of how young he is, that can potentially maybe get his name there, and that would be McVay. Yeah.
And I don't even want to do that. I don't even want to do that.
Yeah, and it's just because he's so young. It's similar to Patrick Mahomes throwing 50 touchdowns and 5,000 yards in his first year as a star, second year in the league.
Is he better than Brady right now? No, he's still ain't. You see what Brady did to him when he had to look at him eye to eye in the playoffs twice?
And McVay, to his credit, we have a direct comparison. He went against Belichick in a Super Bowl.
And you see what Belichick did to him. He dressed him.
He held the number 1 or number 2 offense. I don't know if the Rams or the Chiefs had the better. Either way, Belichick played them back to back and beat them both.
Yeah, bro. That man McVay said, "Well, I got to change up a lot of stuff, boy. The way this man Bill Belichick did me, I thought I could coach."
And it ended up working for him, and now he's got his own coaching tree
bro, one of the best ones. Okay, another AFC East topic. Can the Dolphins win the division?
I give them a better chance than the Patriots. As much as I believe.
Oh, hold on, let me spell it out for you. Right, my dramatic pause was too long. Tua is back in his comfort zone. Offensive line's been beefed up. He has weapons. Like when we saw Tua, when it was tank for Tua, good offensive line, weapons. You look at the weapons he has, Tyreek Hill. Easily the most dynamic receiver in the league. Some could say the best, most won't say the best, but I think he affects coverage more than any receiver in the league. Jalen Waddle, who is close to Tyreek 2.0. Elijah Moore. Solid number 3 receiver. Mike Gesicki. Well, and they got that stable of running backs. They got
Cedric Wilson Jr., who they got from Dallas as well.
I said Ward. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Cedric Ward. I'm sorry. Look at me. Not doing my homework. Cedric Ward.
Wilson.
Do they got Wilson?
Cedric Wilson, not Ward.
Cedric Wilson. Yeah, Cedric Ward. That's somebody from Cartersville. Boy.
They signed up Mohamed Sanu, by the way, too.
Oh, who cares?
Wide receiver 5. I mean,
yeah, they got Sanu, but then in their backfield.
Preston Williams.
Huh?
It's Preston Williams. He had a decent year for the Dolphins last year.
And they have a solid backfield.
They've got 4 guys that literally have all started games over the last 2 seasons. Chase Edmonds, Raheem Mostert, Sony Michel, Myles Gaskin. Very nice. Arguably the best running back room in the NFL. From a depth perspective, any of them could start. Almost like they could just do hot hand.
Bro, they're gonna do some of that Kyle Shanahan stuff because again, Mike McDaniel, his guy, and some of that Belichick stuff where it's like, hey, you're the running back this week because you give us the best matchup. Call me crazy. They don't have the toughest schedule. They can win 11 games, bro.
They can.
And the Bills playing a first place schedule, they can drop a couple.
Well, then I know exactly what you want to do come Vegas. That win total is 8.5.
Oh, you already know.
You're humping the over.
Oh, golly, humping it like it's my wife.
Well, if anything, you're trying to ask them if they got a prop bet at 9.5 at that point, to where you can get it at because the over is minus 135, so 9.5 would definitely be plus 20, plus 125, something like that. If a book will allow you to do an alternative over. Under on win total, which I think they do. You just have to ask.
You know, I like how you're roping in the gambling, even though we're going to hit that intentionally next week.
Yeah.
But giving away, hey, Dolphins over. I like the value of Dolphins to win the AFC East. I won't predict it, but I like the value. Can we talk about the Jets?
We have to. We got players fucking people's moms, friends, and stuff.
Stacy's mom.
While his girlfriend is dating another guy in the league that he was roommates with, and they all
Zach Wilson's girlfriend,
and they all went to BYU, where you shouldn't have been fucking on campus unless you were married, right? So, yeah, of course we got to hit the Jets. Plus, what would it be without talking about the NYJETS, Jets?
I don't have much to say. I'm just confused why Robert Saleh has the issue with the Halo helmet things. I guess because of the inconsistency. It's like we got to practice in them, but we're not going to wear them in game. Just like, hey, Robert Saleh, learn how to coach your team and let them be safe. Make them safe, dude. I don't know what to tell you.
I think that they put some more pieces around him. They drafted relatively well this year. Matter of fact, some would say they had the best first 2 rounds for sure. Breece Hall, Iowa State, big back, gonna be big and fancy. Can't wait for the draft to see where if he's on the board, if he's where I think he might be.
We're streaming the draft, by the way, guys.
Yes, we are. We got to get that date because that's gonna be the show that week. Yeah, it's gonna be a hell of a show because we're gonna be doing some more NFL talk, of course, while doing the draft. That way, it's not just a complete, who'd you take? No, we're gonna do some analysis on this stuff.
It's gonna be a shit show. I'm not gonna lie to you.
It is. I can't
wait.
It'll
be all over the place. We definitely got to give everybody the disclaimer. Hey, certain words you can't say that you may say in your private life or live.
Hugh's gonna be the guy we got to warn more. And if Josh is off the wagon, we probably have got to give him. Oh, and by the way, you can't do certain stuff on camera.
Yeah.
Even though it's on Spotify and it might not be a video on Spotify,
it's on YouTube.
Yeah, and you got it on Facebook too, no?
Yeah,
guys. We don't want it to get taken off Facebook.
Yeah, I've been kicked off of a social media platform before. I don't want that to happen again.
Well, and I bet Amanda is still trying.
Yeah, thoughts and prayers.
You blocked, by the way.
Huh?
What did she do to get you blocked? Or deactivated for like?
No, I had to create a whole new Instagram.
I know. Now it's free Big Baby to go as opposed to Big Baby to go.
Yeah.
You still can't go back to that name if you wanted to.
No.
Wow.
That name can't work anymore.
It's retired.
She and her fans reported me for violating Instagram's rules or some shit. They said I was being like a hate speech or something. Yeah.
Okay.
It is what it is, man.
Anywho, Jets, they did do some moves. They had a great draft.
They did.
They got who did they draft at wide receivers? They got what's his face? Not Olave. They got the other Ohio State.
Jameson Williams? No.
Because he's Ohio State. I mean, he's Alabama. But
Alabama. Yeah, that guy.
The guy that a lot of people thought we were going to draft.
The guy we probably should have drafted. Garrett Wilson.
Yep, Garrett Wilson.
And they got Sauce.
Jamar Chase a little bit.
And they got Sauce.
Yeah, and they took Sauce Gardner, right? So looking up, if Saleh is half the defensive coach that everybody thought he was in San Francisco,
I don't think he is that.
Well, that'll be the deal breaker, and it probably doesn't help too that they said that Joe Flacco looked a hell of a lot better than.
And the 49ers defense got better last year under DeMeco Ryans too. Just throw that out there.
Yeah. So, but they'll be the bottom dweller here, so we can move on from them.
I think they're going to be a feisty 5-win team now.
I hate to get back to the gambling. Their over/under is 5.5. So,
yeah,
sounds like they're right on the money. If you think feisty 5, they might get 6. Who knows? That over is, by the way, is minus 175. So clearly, a lot of money coming in on them to get to 6.
AFC North. I think this is going to be one of the most entertaining divisions in the league. Each team gives us
I'd say second best. Sorry to cut you off, but I'd say second best in the league.
It may be the best by year's end. I'm not as high on the West as you are.
I am shit.
And
hey, we know this is a quarterback-driven league, baby, and they got all of them.
So which team do you want to hit? Because I got a topic for each of them.
Let's start off with the obvious answer in the Cleveland Browns.
All right, Cleveland Browns. So let me pitch you my Deshaun Watson take. He has a weird kink. It's disgusting. Let's hear Roger Goodell's words on it, actually, before we get into it. I think that's important for the viewers, just in case you didn't hear what Commissioner Goodell had to say. Come on, Raj.
The league opted to appeal the Deshaun Watson decision, and why you opted to go back to seeking a full year suspension.
Well, as you know, it's part of the CBA. The two parties had that right. Either party could certainly challenge and appeal that. And that was something that we thought was our right to do, as well as the NFLPS, and we decided it was the right thing to do.
Why go back to seeking the full year suspension?
Because we've seen the evidence. She was very clear about the evidence. She reinforced the evidence that there was multiple violations here, and they were egregious, and it was predatory behavior. Those are things that we felt, we always felt were really important for us to address in a way that's responsible.
Roger, does the league view it like 4 different violations of personal conduct policy? One.
I think that's the case. That's what the facts.
All right, so Roger Goodell pretty much just put out there, hey, that 6 games wasn't enough because we think Deshaun Watson is a predator. And as you hear him stuttering, you can tell that Roger Goodell could care less about what Deshaun Watson did. And because the Haslam family decided to give Deshaun Watson a $230 million contract, fully guaranteed, and only $1 million in his first season, expecting him to get suspended so he wouldn't lose any money. The other owners are upset because now they got quarterbacks saying, "Hey, how the hell is he getting all this money guaranteed? And he got stuff hanging over his head. We have nothing."
And he hasn't really won anything.
Yeah, right. He's a second round playoff guy. Come on now. What are we doing here? And I understand the stances that the other owners take, mainly because they don't want to give players guaranteed money. They don't want to take out $150 million and put it in escrow. And I could never tell a man, hey, you go write a $200 million check right now and feel good about it. You know, I hate spending over $1,000 in one transaction. I just hate it. I just fucking hate it. I've hated it for years. I don't want to spend that much money in one damn transaction. Sorry. I'm cheap. But I don't really think Roger Goodell is convicted about Deshaun Watson sitting out. I just think he is listening to his bosses and he's echoing what they want. And it's not even about the weird sexual behavior. It's about the guaranteed contract. And hold on, last point. I say all of that to say this will never happen, but I don't think the league should be responsible for giving out punishments. You know, we're talking about, these owners, they're capitalists. When outside of football, everywhere else they're capitalists, but in football they want some controls here, right? I think that teams should be responsible for punishment, because if Jimmy and D Haslam say, hey, we want this guy on our team and we're willing to deal with the negative pushback, well, let them deal with it. Like, it's their franchise. Who cares if the league punishes a player? There's nothing legal happening here. Yes, it happened civilly. And I'm not saying that Deshaun Watson didn't do anything wrong. Like, I'm not getting into that because I don't know. But what I will say is, if the legal system's not dealing with them and somebody else wants to hire them to work for their company, then he should be able to work for their company. Like, suspending players for not acting according to our social standards is an issue that we have in this country of elevating celebrities and athletes to being like role models. Deshaun Watson shouldn't be your kid's fucking role model.
I agree with you, but I also disagree. And this is where I disagree. The NFL is the company. Look at the jersey I'm wearing. That logo's on there. They share the amount of money that they make. If people boycott Cleveland Browns games and the Browns make the least in revenue, but it's a revenue split, everybody has a say-so kind of in this. And so I think I'm okay with the league being the ones that hand down the punishment. I see what you're saying, though, team doing it. I'm okay with the league doing it. I think that it needs to be similar, and I know that this is a wild comparison. It should be similar to the college football playoffs. They should have I get it, the owners are basically the chairmen of the board. There's a board of directors, and it's them. But I think that it should be similarly to how they had this appeal with a federal judge. They need to get a committee that comes together on this, where it's It would be tough. I know that in that college football committee, they have current ADs, they've had former ADs.
Don't compare anything to that college committee because it's a shit show with no centralized leadership.
Lisa Rice, like people like that have been a part of this stuff, and now she's a part of that group that's behind the Broncos. But
she was a politician.
I
didn't go be a politician so I can get rich too.
That's how it works. And so, but I think that it will be nice to have a committee or a board of directors. Jay-Z can be a part of it. We can make this thing work. And I know it's like, well, what the fuck does Jay-Z know about punishing an NFL team? At the end of the day, a lot of these people run companies. And I think that everybody can look at something and know when something's wrong. And like I said, that's why even with the Court of Appeals and you know, them doing this with the NFLPA, you had that federal judge, and that's what they recommended. And so either leave it at that, or if that's not good enough, then you need to have a separate committee that is unbiased, that doesn't own a team. It sucks because at the end of the day, there's always biasness because people watch the NFL and they have they're fans of players and teams, and they're from cities where these teams reside, and they can have a factor that could have a factor in their decision making. But at the end of the day, we do everything else that way. If you decide to have a jury trial, it's what, 9 of your peers, 11. It depends on the number, I guess, depending on where you're at. But it's a jury of your peers that come together to decide your fate. And I think that it should be similar with that. They're a big enough corporation to do it. And at this point, and it's weird because you wouldn't want to get sponsors involved either, right? Like, you would hate for somebody to be the former vice president of Fox, or Jeff Bezos's fucking wife is on there. Like somebody that has some indirectness to what the NFL makes its money off of. Apple is throwing their hat in for NFL Sunday Ticket. So we can't get Tim Cook to assign, the Woz or somebody to be on that shit either. But they could. I feel like there's a better way of doing it if they're not okay with like the ruling, for instance, on.
Well, and that's the thing, right? In the new CBA, they brought in the third party to do it because everyone, like Jerry Jones specifically, and Bob Kraft, the two most influential and powerful owners in the league. Sorry, Stan Kroenke, you may have the money, but you're not Bob Kraft or Jerry Jones when it comes to your clout in the NFL. Jerry Jones got you to LA. But when they got upset about the way Tom and Zeke were both punished, and that made the change for the third party arbiter. Well, if you're going to have the third party and then Roger can go and appeal the third party and choose who hears it, what the hell does the third party do then? Like, why do you even have that third party? Because they're impotent. Like, because now they're only allowed to have power if Roger likes it. Because Roger, granted, he farmed it out to this former judge, but he could have received it himself.
And that's why I think that there should be something that's done differently. I don't want it to be one of these things where it's like a lobbyist type thing, right? Like for the competition committee, Rich McKay is the head of it. Rich McKay doesn't own a team. He's a president of our Atlanta Falcons, and
he pretty much owns us.
He runs the team, and
we are all here to do what Falcons do. Look at that!
He's got a history in the league because he was a GM for so long, and then his daddy was either the GM or the owner, if I'm not mistaken. No, he's the GM of the Bucks when they were really bad, or he's the coach. I don't even remember. He's the son of somebody that had something to do with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And my point is, he's the head of the competition committee, but they vote on the rules, and it's the owners that ultimately make that decision, right?
John McKay, he was Mr. USC, 4 natties.
Yeah, but he also was like either the coach of the Bucks or was the GM before Rich. I think he was the coach.
I'll look it up while you're still.
But my point is that they have a competition committee when it comes to rules. There needs to be some sort of a committee or chairmen of the board. You can get Truett Cathy in on it or something. I mean, not Truett, but Bubba or the other Cathy. Like,
yeah. No, I get what you're saying. I just think
you could put together this conglomerate of.
I just think that if
how they would handle it.
If Roger Goodell is not going to be the decision maker, he needs to be removed from the appeals process as well.
Exactly, and that's what I agree. Then maybe the NFL owners should vote on it. And even if
I don't like that because they have a vested interest.
Well, and I was going to say, and even if them voting on it would be similar to,
third party no appeal,
because them listening to Rodgers listening to them at the end of the day,
and that's my issue with
is the owner's decision.
And that's my issue with the Deshaun thing is it's not Roger taking a stance against predatory behavior. It's Roger standing with his fellow owners because they want him to get his pockets ran because they don't want him to only lose $700,000 of $230 million guaranteed. That's what it all boils down to. It's all about the money. It's not about what he did because maybe he has a lot more women coming out against him, but Bob Kraft was getting a good old rub and tug too.
But his was different. It was different.
I know it's different.
The sting was on the place, not him. He just so happened to have been there.
I agree, but Jerry had his stuff that came up. You know what I mean? You got the whole Washington franchise.
Jerry took a knee and looked into the camera, man.
You got the whole thing that's going on with the Washington franchise. Do you think that Deshaun Watson is the biggest predator associated with the NFL?
No, not at all. I disagree. He's got a really weird fetish.
Huh?
He has a fetish, and
it's weird.
Predatory, I guess, depending on what the circumstances are around it. We just don't know. And and that my thought was too when I read that quote. When he said it was predatory, I'm like, well, Roger, then why didn't you just I don't understand. I get it. That's the process. You got the third party to come in, but at that point, there should be just a suspension. And that
he doesn't want blood on his hands.
Did they go through that with every fucking suspension? I don't
think so. He doesn't want blood on his hands. He wants to be the good guy. Hey, look here, man.
He wants to be the guy that pushed it to the limit and was just like, this was the final stage. I'm sorry, guys. No matter who's happy or who's not, this is how the cookie crumbled. I mean,
last thing on this, because we got to transition. We need a Molly.
Run through the Afc North.
Yeah, we need a Molly or a Joy to keep us on track. But here's the thing, bro. All those massage therapists could have walked out because it was not forcible vaginal or anal penetration. It was hand jobs. I'm not defending him. But
it was actually more so. He wasn't moving their hand to tap him. It was more indecent exposure than anything.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, it was more indecent exposure than anything.
Yeah, and him doing a little Peyton Manning on the training table at Tennessee.
People forget about that and
how
that.
I'm not excusing or saying the behavior is okay, but I'm saying we got to properly contextualize this stuff. But to the rest of the AFC North, do you think the Browns are going to be worth a damn this year?
It really will depend on how many games he plays, and Vegas has even pulled their over under win total, so got nothing there for you.
He's going to play 5. He's going to play 5 games.
I tell you what. Let's say, all right. Well, no. Let's just go off the current rule. Let's say it stands 6 games. If they get to 3-3 without him, or even 2-4, I think that at 2-4 they could go 10-7.
Second.
Go 3-3, they could go 11-6. So, this is what I would like to think, because I guess after we go through everybody, then we'll do the playoff aspect. So I'll just say this: yes, I think that they can win games this season with or without him. But without him entirely, let's say he were to miss the entire season, 8-9, 9-8 tops.
Okay. Let's talk Baltimore. I think Baltimore wins this division. Baltimore wins the division. I think people are so wrong on Lamar Jackson and his contract. They're talking about Baltimore not wanting to pay Lamar or not wanting to commit to him long term. I think Baltimore has offered a pretty nice contract. I think under most circumstances, most quarterbacks would have taken the offer that Baltimore has given. We don't know that final number because Baltimore has one of the best front offices in the league. They handle good business. Lamar added another 15 pounds. He's yoked. And Lamar has said, his camp has said, I want to hit free agency. Like, I want to hit true free agency. Not because I want to leave Baltimore, but if I hit true free agency, I can pull the Kirk Cousins. And I think that's what he's trying to do. And I'm so tired of the traditional media beating up on him for having his mom as an agent. But I forgot what podcast I was listening to. I think it was the GM Shuffle with Michael Lombardi, a former GM in the league. He was like,
he's good too.
He is. He's like, as a quarterback, you don't need an agent because your contract is, what did the next guy get? Give me $1 million more. Like, why would you pay this guy to negotiate why would you pay somebody to negotiate for you when you are negotiating off of what the last guy got if you're a top end quarterback?
That, and then when Deshaun Watson gets a fully guaranteed contract and you've done just as much in the playoffs
and won MVP.
And then, by the way, you got one of those MVP awards. It's going to be really hard to tell you that, well, I tell you what, if you guys don't want me, somebody else will. Check you later.
Hey, real quick, you want me to tell you like a blind spot for fans? I got a friend, he's a Philly fan, and he works in sports. He's been on this pod. Shout out to my guy. I sent him a little KD piece, right? About KD to the 76ers. I said Tobias, Maxey, and Junk. Same thing I sent to the group. He said pass. I like Maxey too much. Boy, fans be tripping sometimes.
They are. I would take that deal personally. I don't think that I don't think Brooklyn will, just because I think the Jaylen Brown trade, if the Boston really offer that, I'd much rather have that than Tobias and Maxey and Junk. So that alone, that's the reason why I wouldn't take the deal if I'm the Nets. But yes, that blind spot can really detract you from what's going on. But then again, you could simply say that, okay, so basically we're trading the Brooklyn Nets Joel Embiid for Kyrie Irving, because that's what it would have been.
Yeah. Guess what? I like that team better. I like that team a lot better.
Yeah, Embiid, he led the league in scoring, second in MVP for second straight year, and he's a big man as opposed to another guy that absolutely has to have the ball in his hand on the perimeter.
Yeah.
Big difference, right?
But back to the AFC North. I got Baltimore winning that division. I think they come back. I think Lamar gets paid at the end of the year, and it's a nice contract, like you were saying. He's going to use that Deshaun Watson contract as leverage.
Lack of weapons. I think he's a guy that does do a lot, and we'll have to see how good the running game is, because if I remember, not last year because of all the injuries, but even the year before that, without him, it wasn't like J.K. Dobbins was getting off. Gus Edwards would have some nice moments here and there, but it wasn't like they were really getting off running the ball without him. And so maybe that's a part of their offense, but I don't like the weapons. They got rid of Hollywood Brown. They got another tight end, the guy that won the tight end award in college. They got him. So you've got two tight ends. So I guess if he clearly likes tight ends. He throws the ball. Just reminds me a lot of Michael Vick. It really does. Mark Andrews is Algie Crumpler 2.0, maybe a little bit more skilled, but like he reminds me a lot. It reminds me a lot of that Falcon shit. And so I think that the ceiling of that team is 12-5, and then the floor is like, if things go really wrong, 7-10. But
people smarter than me,
floor though.
People smarter than me said that in Bobby Petrino's offense, Lamar Jackson threw the ball outside the hash is better. So there's an argument that their offense, Greg Roman's actually holding him back and not allowing him to make those throws on a regular basis. I don't know. I'm just saying what people smarter than me say.
I tell you what, you think John Harbaugh would be interested in bringing Bobby back to the NFL? He never got the chance with Vick here.
I don't think Bobby would want to go be a coordinator.
Where is he coaching now? Is he still at Western Kentucky or something?
I think he's at Louisville.
He's not Louisville's coach. No way. Either way, let me see. Where is Bobby P?
He may be unemployed.
Missouri State.
Missouri State. Oh, yeah. Never mind. Yeah, he'll take that job tomorrow.
No, yeah, he would take that job. Pay raise, and he gets to look good again. He'll never get an NFL opportunity just because of what he did. Fuck him. Nonetheless, next, let's get to the AFC champ, Bengals.
Hold on.
I'll lead us into this one.
Real quick. I said you trip. He said maybe. Kid is special and he works hard. Sky's the limit. A championship would be more fun if they're homegrown. His sky is not KD.
His sky isn't KD. KD will be a better basketball player than him until KD retires. And so,
yeah, bro. Maxey's sky is.
If he's on another team, he could potentially be one of those guys that in his career is a 1 to 2 time All-Star. That's his sky.
Right. Yeah, his sky is Gilbert Arenas on a good day. If he's lucky. And I don't think it's that high.
You send a guy like Maxey to play in Indiana, and
he won't do what Gilbert did when Gilbert came to Washington.
Maybe he averages 25 a game, but they're never in the playoffs. Like those are his numbers, and that's the thing too. I mean, I hate to bring in a friend of mine that plays in the league, but he averaged 24 point something, almost 25 points a game too, and he was.
I don't want to talk about him because I don't like the way the league's disrespecting him, and I'm ready to. Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
Very disrespectful. But
Bengals. Do the Bengals roar back?
I think so. So I know that some people, I think the talent is just there. It's just there. The defense plays well enough. They're kind of weak in the secondary, but offensively, it's all there. And Joe Burrow, the thought is he really took a step in the second half of the season last year, and that's why it propelled him to the Super Bowl. Joe shows that he's cool. Joe shows that he improves because we've seen it. We saw it in college, and we got to see it in year 2 in the NFL. I really like them to win that division. Joe Mixon's still got plenty of tread on those tires. They've got arguably
how's
the
that
best,
backhand?
They've got arguably the well, hey, we'll see. Because he had appendix. What did he have? Something that just got done. It wasn't his appendix, or was it?
Let's see.
I think it was his appendix. He got something. Joe Burrow. I think it was his appendix.
You said Joe Burrow, Joe Mixon.
You said backhand. You're such a dick, man. You're a penis for that.
I mean, he stiff arms with his backhand. It's a real strong stiffy.
Joe Burrow did have his appendix removed, but nonetheless, I think that Joe's got a mean stiff arm. I'll leave it at that. And so, really good. And he's an every down back. I like him. I like T. Higgins. Obviously, Jamar Chase is a superstar. Basically, he might as well already be superstar. They lost TJ Uzomedi. Yeah, and I think he went to the Jets. And so, another thing about the Jets, they added him. Solid pickup. I'm just saying, solid pickup. But either way,
I got 2 frisky teams.
Zach Taylor being a
can Zach Taylor coach?
We're going to find out this year, really. But Zach Taylor is still a part of that tree of the McVay, Shanahan. Those guys all work together. So, I mean, he certainly is in a position. He's got his quarterback. He's got his receivers. He's got his running back. The offense should have no problem. I like them to win that division. And I guess, like I said, at the end, we'll do the playoff picture. But I like them specifically to win.
So you're telling me that the Steelers are going to be last in the division?
I'm telling you that that's true. Yeah, like that team's going to be.
They're
not even going to be bad. They're going to be in so many games they just won't win them.
I struggle with them being bad. I haven't seen it.
Well, hey, we had never saw Russell Wilson not have a winning season, and last season I said, you know what? They're not going to have a winning season. Russell Wilson plays for another team now. Look, some things, all good things come to an end. I think we've all heard that saying, right? All good things do come to an end. And Mike T's had a hell of a run. I remember, I think it was like during the season last year, they were trying to make it come to a run sooner than it should have, talking about him going to USC and him talking about he don't have a big enough checkbook to do
that was some of the most disrespectful shit ever. Like, you're talking about a man who
never coached college.
His peers were Andy Reid, not Sean Garrett.
No, man, put him in there. He's not in the Bill tier, but Bill is still a peer. He's been
Sean Payton. Hey,
he's coached in 2 Super Bowls.
His peers are Sean Payton and Andy Reid. That's it.
Those are the perfect guys.
The guys who've been coaching 15 plus years, and
franchise.
They not even with one franchise, but 15 plus year coaches.
Andy did about 13 or 12 in Philly, and now he's even been in Kansas City for about 8 or 9.
If he's going to be the first coach to coach 10 plus years with 2 teams at the end of this year,
and take them both to Super Bowls.
That too. But here's the thing about Coach T. He gets so disrespected by the traditional sports media because they call him a motivator. That's code word for he can't coach. He's just a rah-rah guy.
Code word for he's a nigga, and he's able to speak to the players, and that's all he's really good at is hyping his guys up and telling them, "Hey man, we got to go out here and do business."
Right. If you could throw Pete Carroll in his peer group too, but these guys are.
I don't even think. Well, now, Pete's there.
They're the best of the best. That's not Bill. You know what I mean? They've been consistent with it.
They're practically outside of the young gun, McVay, Shanahan, and even though, Shanahan's coached in the Super Bowl. McVay, Shanahan, now Taylor. Those guys.
Don't put Taylor in the name. No.
He coached in the Super Bowl. Him and Kyle Shanahan have done the same thing, and he did it in a short.
You saw how you remember last year on Shanahan. I was like, is he really a good head coach or is he an offensive coordinator? I think he proved me wrong.
I think he's a good head coach.
I think he proved me wrong.
He's a great head coach. He's maybe the best offensive coordinator.
Absolutely.
Just looking at what he did in Houston, what he did in Washington, and of course what he did here, I think he's arguably, you could put him in, man, he's a top tier OC. Just like DQ was a top tier DC. You know, I think Quinn in his second time will be I think he'll be a solid head coach. I'm gonna send you. I was listening to this the Doomsday podcast. It's a Dallas Cowboys podcast. I listened to it because I like Ed Warder and the other guy, I can't think of his name. I really like him. They interviewed DQ last week. Great listen. Ed Word is such a Dallas Cowboys fucking home. Like, I swear to God, he was always the ESPN beat writer for them for the just like Sal Palantonio's the Eagles guy. Like,
yeah, but Werner's a Dallas guy. But listen to DQ talk, and he talked about like his standing in the organization with the weird stuff with McCarthy, and he was like, "Yeah, man, I get it. I coach with Raheem Morris. Raheem Morris is a head coach in this league. Like, should be a head coach in this league. Like." I had to deal with that on my sideline. I understand what that role is like and how you feel when you go, my right-hand man might be better than me.
I don't think that was what was plaguing DQ, but certainly that last year, he knew that was coming in. He was on the hot seat. And after we blew that second game, when we blew the Chicago game, it was time. And they shouldn't have let it last past that, but they did. But nonetheless.
Hey, let's get to the AFC South. I don't have much for this division because we kind of hit the Matt Ryan stuff earlier.
Well, here, we can just run through this real quick. I'll do it just quick 4 points. Colts winning the division, Matt Ryan. I expect them to win 11-plus games. Texans, I think improvement does come even under Lovey. And I think me and you are like kind of like we're not going to take him in fantasy, but like
Davis.
I don't think he's bad. I think he's better than Daniel Jones, Mitchell Trubisky. Like, I think that his ceiling is higher than what those guys accomplished in their time.
I think Davis Mills' ceiling.
Playoff choice.
I think Davis Mills' ceiling is higher than Mac Jones' ceiling.
Ooh,
I don't know if he can get there.
Hot take.
Davis Mills was the number one quarter. Hey, Davis Mills was the number one quarterback coming out of high school. Sorry, I like pedigree. He's a big kid, trunky kid, long neck, good quarterback. He was plagued by injuries in college. We don't know what he is.
Long neck, Kirk Cousins, according.
And then he went to a shitty He went to a shitty team. Like he won four games, just like Deshaun Watson won 4 games a year before.
Who's their RB1? Do you know?
Me?
Yeah.
No, me.
Oh, okay. Well, we know.
So here's the thing I do.
A solid receiver to have to throw the ball to.
So here's the thing I do on Instagram, on like a lot of posts when they were like, "Who's up next?" I'll just comment on it. Me. Who's your favorite running back? Me. Like that's one of the things I do on Instagram that doesn't get enough love, but that's okay. So
you dick, man.
Yeah, the Colts win the division. I think the Titans are frisky, but they're like a frisky 8-9, 9-8. They're gonna beat teams. They're gonna beat good teams, and they're gonna lose to bad teams because they lost AJ Brown, and I mean, I don't want AJ Brown on my team, but if I had him on my team, I don't want to lose him.
I like the guy that they got out of Burks out of Arkansas.
I love Treylon Burks. I love Treylon Burks.
I just feel like they're not missing much now. It would have been great if they could have paired them.
I think Treylon Burks,
but they didn't get out of Julio. I think that was Ryan Tannehill and the offensive coordinator's fault. But and Julio was still not healthy. But like, I think that if they could have paired them, that I would have really liked it. But obviously, Burks gets comparisons to Debo. I think that they're fair. I think Burks is great, and I think Ryan Tannehill sucks. I think that potentially, if they're 3-6 at one point, they're going to make that move to Malik. But yeah. They're a bona fide top end just because they got Derrick Henry. And if Tannehill can play well, right, I just don't see more than 9 wins.
I think if it gets bad, Tannehill's benched and he's auctioned off to the team that's a quarterback away next year, which could be us if we do what I think we're going to do.
Man, I'm going to tell you, they're going to lose a fan. No, they're not going to lose a fan, but I'll be just like my mom. My mom for years used to yell out fire, like to Dan Reeves' face, man, be like, retire. And I just can't. I don't want to be in that position. I don't want to be that guy.
Hey, look here. We're going to pick it back up when we get to the NFC South, and I'll tell you why I think we might end up with Ryan Tannehill.
So AFC Titans, wait, we missed a team. The Jaguars, come on, man. Herb's old team. We got to at least touch them, even if it's just for a quick minute, 30 seconds.
I'm a cop, and you will respect my authority.
Yeah, right.
I love the Doug Peterson hire. The whole time, I literally thought that was who they should hire. I expect T-Law, Cartersville native, legend out there. Legend. State of Georgia legend. I think T-Law definitely has a much better season under Doug. He gets Etienne back. That's his old back running mate. We've seen what Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow. I know it's not the same, but I expect Etienne to come in. James Robinson's okay. I expect Etienne to basically become the Cordell Patterson of that offense. They're still only going to win 6 to 5 games, but they'll be in a team that when you see them, even if they're still as bad record-wise,
frisky
game-wise, they're improved. They're not the rollover that they were.
I think Trev throws for 3,500, 28 tubs, and
13 picks.
13 picks, yeah.
Okay. All right.
I think we see the progress that we like, and we go, if he had weapons, he's 35-10.
They do have a weapon. Didn't they just sign a number 3 wide receiver to like one of the most ridiculous? He just set up the whole wide receiver market.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to be mad at Cleveland for giving Deshaun that money.
Now be mad at Jacksonville for paying Christian Kirk bum ass.
We should be talking about that Christian Kirk contract. That is the contract that just set the whole NFL on fire. Next.
Well, let's get to the AFC West. Wow, West.
Best division in football.
You think so?
If you had to give me best division in football, 4 words to describe it, best division in football.
All right, let me see. Let me cut down my topics.
I think that every week that an NFC West team plays each other, it has the juice to always be on prime time.
So do you want me to tell you the way I think this division shakes out?
Yeah, even though I know once we do all the division talk and then we're going to run through division winner, wild card. Yes, go ahead, though.
Raiders, Chargers, Kansas City, Denver.
Like Raiders 1. That's interesting. I like them as 2.
Don't get me wrong. Raiders might go 2, Chargers might go 1, but I'm putting Russ and Mahomes at 3 and 4.
Me too.
I think the Raiders and the Chargers have better teams.
I think the Chargers have to break through because if not, I don't want to hear shit about fucking Justin Herbert again. I'm fucking serious. I don't want to hear anything about him if he doesn't make the playoffs again because I'm tired of it. People like Matt Ryan were winning games early in his career and put up stats by year 3 to where they were like top tier, like top 5 yards, touchdowns type shit. Matt Ryan did that by year 3, but he had a winning season every year and had made the playoffs twice out of those for 3. I don't want to hear that with Justin Herbert if he doesn't do it. I'm picking them to win a division. I think that the addition of Khalil Mack is huge. With
J.C. Jackson too.
Oh man, they're gonna be defensively. They've got the guys. They're building them.
The Falcons.
There you go. They're building themselves up to be just like the Rams, but in the AFC. And they got to share that building with them. And the pressure's really on them to get something done. They probably should have stayed in San Diego. I wish that they could have just built the stadium down there. I know it would have been fun going down there.
Look here. If they would have stayed in San Diego, the way I told you that, our Atlanta super fan thing that I think we're going to carry into our mid 30s and 40s, I would have committed to that in San Diego. Like, I love that city that much that if they had football, I'd pay those high taxes.
They're LA's younger brother, but like, man, what a missed opportunity by not just building the new stadium.
It's the cooler. San Diego is LA's cooler younger brother.
The more residential to me, the more resident. Yeah, you could get a house 30 minutes out of LA. I mean, that's what everybody does do if you don't live in the hills, right? But like my dad, for instance, had said if he could retire somewhere, he would retire there.
Bro, San Diego is so much better than LA if you don't want to be a celebrity. Everything that LA offers, because what people forget about LA is last call in LA is at 1:45, bro.
And you need to be in. LA's more house party. It's not bars. Bars are San Diego. Bars, great food too. Good food.
That's Mexican food in the state.
Me and Josh had some fantastic sushi right down the street from his house. It was
What place did y'all go to?
I don't remember the name of it, but we had some Japanese old fashions. Josh is a big old fashioned guy these days, apparently. He likes making them. He likes getting them everywhere he goes.
Can he make good ones?
I'll give him a B+. I really did. I thought it was good, especially considering he went through the whole process of barely cutting the orange and like wasting it.
Bro, Josh.
He's got some wood chips that he puts in, and
he like spends like his Tuesdays perfecting his old fashioned, right? Just for us to come visit.
Of course, and this was one thing I had been noticed a minute ago. He gets the big, fist size ice ball. Does it preparation? I'll give him an A, but taste and everything. I think he could have put a little bit more liquor in it for my liking, but I'm an alcoholic. B+ though, altogether.
Okay.
I would recommend it if we're there and Josh is making. I'm like, hey y'all, Josh making.
Hey, now here's what we're gonna do for Boink's bachelor party. Whatever, if Josh's team lose, he's making old fashions like all
for everybody. Yeah. Matter of fact, yeah, he's the official bartender, and anytime anyone wants one, he's got to do it.
Yeah, you know what? We'll try to work out something with the spot that we go to. Like, hey, my man has to get behind the bar and make them.
Well, that, and then if he loses in the basketball game, and certainly anyone that he thinks isn't better than him outperforms him, he's their bitch for the weekend.
What if we play the game and he only has 2 points in a game to 16?
2 points as in one or just one?
Yeah,
shot?
1 and 1. Which 1 and 1 or 1 3?
Layup and possibly makes a jump shot.
He gets a fast break. He gets a fast break layup and 1 jump shot in the half court.
I'm going to be disappointed from the way he was talking. And so, you got to have at least 5-6 in a game to 16 for me to be like, okay, yeah, he's the guy.
He's got to call for the ball and go to his spot and score on somebody. Like Melo style. Like Melo, like at the elbow.
I wanted to try Josh up and ask him, can you even palm a fucking basketball? And so something is
I can't palm a ball.
Really?
I can dunk. I can't palm it.
I can palm a basketball. Now, my hands aren't huge. They're not huge, but I can palm a basketball.
I think you got bigger hands than me. I can palm it on a good day. I can't palm it every day.
I don't have big palms, but my fingers are long. So, like,
that's what she said.
Yeah, nonetheless, man. Look, we're getting too far out of this.
San Diego, back to the Afc West.
San Diego, next thing that we believe, Raiders. I'm wholehearted.
I'm Raiders Chargers. Because here's the thing. Here's the thing about Kansas City. They lost their best defensive player. Golly. Sorry, Kyle. Can't talk, buddy. Pod. But no. Kansas City, they lost their best defensive player in the Honey Badger. They lost their second best offensive player.
They still got Chris Jones.
Yeah. But did you see their secondary early in the season last year?
I saw it late in the game in their last time we saw them play.
Right. Like they need Honey Badger back there doing what Honey Badger does, right?
Who was it? Sorensen, the white guy, number 40-something? He was the one that was getting burned.
I think he's on the Saints now.
Really? They both went to New Orleans?
I think so.
Well, probably because they know Brady's the only one that's going to be chucking it because they know that Baker, Sam / Ritter, Mariota is not throwing the ball more than 15 yards.
Yeah, he's on the Saints now. But
well, it'll only matter when they play the Bucs, and so
right. But losing Honey Badger, I don't think losing Sorensen's a problem. I think he's terrible.
I think that was good. That's an addition by subtraction in my book.
They lose Tyreek Hill. They get Juju and Valdez-Scantling. I don't care about them. And I thought Justin Ross would be the difference maker if with health. I know he went undrafted, but it was more medical than talent because if you remember what he was at Clemson with Trevor Lawrence, he was the guy.
He was basically WR1. I mean,
right. Now that he's not playing this year, I just think they take a natural step back, and I don't think they're bad.
You get a healthy Clyde Edwards-Helaire. They signed who else is the other running back? They signed somebody. Who's RB2? Hold on. This is why
it doesn't give me much confidence.
RB2. Hold on. I want to pull up RB2.
Michael Burton, they got Ronald Jones. And they still got Jerick McKinnon.
I think they had signed him late last year. They got him somehow.
They did. He looked great.
Yeah. So
does Mecole Hardman step up?
He has to. He's going to be kind of this speedy.
He has to be Tyreek next year, but he's not that good.
Tyreek light.
Yeah, Tyreek Milwaukee's best.
Yeah, he has to. But Raiders is who I wanted to talk. I want to talk Raiders ball. Devonte Adams is the best receiver in the NFL. True or false?
True, but I saw that side by side with Mike Evans. I saw side by side with Mike Evans that would say that Mike Evans has been better than Devonte Adams. But I don't believe that with my eyes. So, right. Yes, he's the best receiver in the league.
It's got JP's calling me. I'm not telling him on pod. Either way, I think we could argue over the last 3 years he's been the best receiver in the NFL. Big addition, especially when you're adding it with Darren Waller, and then you decided after they traded Edwards here, who was kind of running he was the Y. No, he's the Z. He was wide receiver too. He wasn't in the slot.
Right.
Basically. And Hunter Renfrow was 1,000-yard receiver, 8 touchdowns. And, he's the crafty white slot, the traditional Wes Welker, Edelman guy, especially now with Josh McDaniels being a coach. That's going to be the real question for them. Is Josh McDaniels ready to be head coach part 2? Is he ready? He turned down remember, he took the Colts job. Then they ended up hiring Frank Wright instead. He took the Colts job, turned it down, and decided to stay with Bill, and then randomly decided, you know what, I want to move to Vegas, and I want to be with a team that did make the playoffs last year with all that adversity. Now they don't have to deal with the John Gruden stuff this year. Josh Jacobs, they didn't pick up his option, but they also drafted what's his face, who I think is eventually going to take his spot. Name is slipping my head. We've been going through so many NFL teams. We almost have to pull up the depth charts every single time.
Yeah, I know.
They've got Zamir White.
Zamir White, yeah, from Georgia.
And they have Kenyon Drake. And Amir Abdullah's running back 4, who's an often injured guy, but we remember him at Nebraska. He was solid.
Yeah, I drafted him in fantasy. He fucked me.
Yeah. And so they got Zeus. Solid backups, really, to Derek Carr, Stidham, and Mullins. I'd love that behind Mariota if we hadn't drafted a quarterback. I mean, in terms of just backup guys that can come in that you've seen play in the last – I mean, Stidham maybe not so much, but Nick Mullins really wasn't that bad in Kyle Shanahan's system. But nonetheless, Raiders also picked up Chandler Jones. People don't even talk about that.
Yeah, they're going to have the best – arguably the only better pass rush may be in division.
Chargers got the best.
And that's the Chargers.
Yeah, Chargers got the best.
Khalil and Bosa.
But really like what they did there, expecting them to finish second and being a wild card.
So where do you put the dangerous Denver Broncos?
I have to put them 4th, only because by default, I mean, I don't think they're going to be better than Kansas City. And I've already stated that I think that the Chargers and the Raiders are the top 2 teams in the division, with the Chargers being 1, the Raiders being 2. So, unfortunately, Russ will find himself back where he was last season, and that's in last place. Now, that doesn't mean that they won't go 9-8. It just means that they're not winning the division. And they're going to be fighting to potentially be the 7th seed. They're going to be hovering. They're a team to me that's going to be 500 all year. They're going to win one and they're going to lose one. They're going to win one and they're going to lose one. That schedule, it works in their favor in the non-conference stuff, like the non-divisional games, because they're going to be playing the teams that were – because they were last place last year in that division, right? So they're going to be facing a last place schedule. That will work to their advantage when they have to play –
the Jets.
Carolina. Do they play our division?
Well, don't they play all the last place teams?
Yeah, and then there's one random team. Because remember, you only play one division, and then there's the opposite. They're in the West, so they play the NFC West. They play Seattle that first game. That's the first Monday night game. They're going to beat Seattle. They'll win their first game.
Yeah, they're going to dog walk Seattle. They're going to dog walk the Broncos, so they're going to get off hot. The 49ers are going to take them to the woodshed. The Raiders take them to the woodshed.
You think the 49ers take Denver to the woodshed? I think that game's going to be close as hell.
I think it's not as close as we think, but
and we're about to get to the NFC, but I don't know. We'll talk about that when we get to the NFC side. But I'm just simply saying the schedule favors them.
Hey, question:
9-8.
Carry a general conversation while I go head to the bathroom.
9-8.
And I'll pick up at NFC East.
9-8. I don't see any way that Denver falls to the point of where they can't possibly have a winning season. Like I said, they're going to hover between 500 the entire year. It could go a ton of different ways, but I'm leaning towards Denver still having a good chance of winning. I mean, all 3 wild cards could very easily come out of this division. Just look at it. It's daunting. It's daunting. And who's to say that we don't see an injury? Nobody can predict these things. And that's how I see the AFC West. But now that we've completed the AFC, there's a ton of different ways that you can look at the playoff picture there. And once we have Big Baby back on the mic, we'll go through our actual playoff seedings, division winners, and eventual AFC Championship / Super Bowl. But we'll go to the NFC East from here. And, I want to start off with, of course, the team that won that division. You got the Dallas Cowboys. I know that a lot of teams, a lot of fans, a lot of teams like to look at it a certain way. and he's back. But
what are you talking about?
I literally just finished off our AFC West crescendo, and literally am starting with the NFC East. And of course, I had to pick the division winner, Dallas Cowboys from last season.
You're picking Dallas to win the division, although
No,
they're losing.
no. I actually am picking them to win the division, but I just wanted to start with them because they did win the division last year.
Okay.
And I think that that's a fair place to start. They had arguably two of the hottest coaching candidates. We know that DQ turned down one of the positions. I don't know if Kellen Moore got offered a job or not.
He didn't. People got smart. People got smart. Kellen Moore. All right, you hire Kellen Moore, my peer. He's my age. Okay, I'm 30. You hire Kellen Moore. You're wasting 2 to 3 years in your franchise. Kellen Moore has not put together a great half-season game plan yet. You know, I think he has creative plays, but he hasn't learned how to sequence them together yet. I'm okay with that because he's so young. I think he needs.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
He needs pelts on the wall. But if you want to hire Kellen Moore as your head coach, you're telling the NFL that you don't know what the hell you're doing. Kellen Moore is not ready to be a head coach yet. He is not Sean McVay. He's not the young boy wonder who put in the time. Yes, Kellen's dad was a high school coach. Huh?
McVay was only the OC in Washington for 1 year.
Yeah, but McVay
he was on the staff a long time, but he was only the OC 1 year.
He was
on that. Washington was not good.
But look at that.
Doesn't put up bonker numbers. But
look at the staff he was on now.
Yeah, everybody has turned.
Look who through his career. Look who he coached with. Like you're talking Shanahan, Raheem Morris, both of them. Raheem Morris, like he was coaching with coaches.
Yes, coaches.
Right, and the fact that
Zach Taylor was there, Matt LaFleur was there.
bro, like McVay's different.
LaFleur brothers, even though Matt's the only head coach, but the LaFleur brothers.
Right, McVay's different, bro. He's different.
I'm sorry, I'm cutting you off, but and he was also. It's so crazy. He was the best football player in the state of Georgia.
Yeah, he was.
With Calvin Johnson. How crazy is that?
Out of Maris.
Yeah.
Running that option quarterback and actually was nice with it.
This is where Jude comes in when he tries to wreck my state championship accomplishment. He loves to bring up private school ball and that, this is where he would say, well, he was at Maris, he's like private school ball.
But Maris played 4 or 5A ball, right? I know they play high A ball now.
Yeah, even if they were 2A or 3A, they were playing.
Yeah, they were playing high A ball.
Yeah, they were playing they'd go down, they'd play allowance. If the schedule could be set for them to do it, they'd make that type of matchup.
Yeah. No, my high school, we got thrashed by Maris in basketball one year. Maris is good at sports.
Yeah, they're a high end. When it comes to private schools, the best all around, it actually probably is them all around. And because they're, centrally located in the city. But point being, Cowboys, I think the retention of the coaching staff, it's going to put a lot of heat on McCarthy. But I think McCarthy's done regardless. If they don't make the NFC Championship, Sean Payton's going to be the next head coach, or Dan Quinn if somehow, some way Sean Payton doesn't take the job. But
Sean Payton takes the job.
Yeah, I think he does too. But let's just say in a hypothetical world, he loves that cushy job at Amazon or something for one more year.
Is he going to be good on TV?
He doesn't give me that personality. He did a commercial one time. I think it was local for New Orleans or just the state of Louisiana, where it was something about going. It might have been going to what's the casino?
Harris.
Yeah, I think it was for Harris, and they asked him what he wanted to eat, and it was panther meat. It was lion, it was stuff, and then he's like, "I'll have the roasted falcon," and he just is smiling. He's got this smug look. He's a smug son of a bitch, is what he is. And so, of course, you knew he was going to pick that. And then he was done eating it. Yeah, to Devonte Freeman. And then it was a falcon bird further after he got done eating. And he's sitting back with his stomach out and stuff. And So who knows? He doesn't appear to be like somebody that's going to be good on TV.
Yeah, Drew Brees. What you see what NBC did to Drew Brees after 1 year? They canned his ass.
Yeah, but Drew just doesn't have the charisma like Peyton Manning, like especially to see a guy like Peyton on.
Well, Peyton is funny, and Eli is funny. Eli is like they're funny.
Eli's goofy funny though.
Yeah, it's different kinds of funny.
Peyton's I'm the best ever, and I can make this joke and make it sound so serious to where everybody knows it's a joke, and that's what makes it so fucking funny.
Well, I remember one of my favorite Manning casts was when LeBron came on.
Of course it was.
But no. It was the Peyton and LeBron conversation of, hey, yo, we them. When me and you talk, can't nobody else talk. And Eli's just sitting there, mouth breathing, waiting for like to throw in his terrible joke because he knows, hey, sometimes when big bro talking to other people, I gotta go text. You know how it be when your partners is hollering at a girl and her friend ain't rocking with you? So then you just like get in your phone, but you ain't really texting nobody. You just scrolling through Instagram to look busy.
Yeah, you're looking up random shit.
Yeah, bro, that's how Eli was in that conversation. But it was similar in the Brady conversation until it got a little too far. Then Eli was like, yo, you know what I did to you though, man.
But that was exactly why Eli, he's sitting there. He can sit in that conversation only because he's like, well, I beat you twice on the biggest stage.
It's like, hey, bro.
I'm 2-0 against you when it actually, as Jew would say, when did it matter? He's 2-0 against Brady, the best ever when it mattered.
Because it's one of those things where it's like, everybody know that Brady and Peyton got way better hands than Eli. But every time Eli fight Brady, he just beat his ass. And it don't make sense.
Well, what it is Eli is the guy that he's fighting, and like Brady could be beating him, like winning on the card 10-9 every time. But for whatever reason, by that 12th round, Eli is a knockout artist. He literally takes that one punch, and it always wins.
Bro, Devonte Davis's last fight. No. Yeah, it was his last fight. He was getting his ass whooped. And Floyd was talking to him. Bro, you losing right now. He got mad and he was like, oh, I'm losing? All right, bet. Night.
Exactly.
You can't lose when he sleep.
Exactly. And that's where it draws me to Eli's former team with the Giants. I mean, Daniel Jones, they didn't pick up his 5th-year option, correct?
No, they did not. So
this is final year for him. So he's playing for money. They got Dayball at coach. I mean, he's a Belichick guy. And of course, he's the one that, everybody keeps making the joke about Belichick plays chestnut check, or he plays chestnut checkers, and basically intentionally texts that to Brian Beeflo. First of all, it gets Kraft out of hot water. But secondly, it shows that Brady was tampering and Belichick potentially, if that theory is in fact true, that would mean that he knew that Brady was tampering. And come on, you don't think that Bill is Bill, man, at the end of the day. He is the most powerful person in the NFL that isn't an owner.
And I don't think Bill wanted – yeah, I agree. I don't think Bill wanted B-Flow to take that job because if he takes that Giants job, he's not going to win and he won't be a head coach ever again.
And more importantly, Bill's got connection to the Giants organization. And so –
and he knows the Tish and Amaras aren't good owners.
Yeah, he knows the owners. And so then he's lost to them in the Super Bowl twice. And so, there's, so much layered onto that. But, regardless, it ended up setting that up. But point being, Dayball's there. He's a Saban guy, which in turn makes him a Belichick guy. Oh, he was on the Patriots staff too.
Yeah, he was.
He was at one point, even if it was for 1 year, he was like a special assistant or some shit.
Hey, let's talk about the real team in this division.
Wait. I just want to run through the Giants real quick. Daniel Jones shut up. Saquon, can you fucking stay healthy? I think I saw in the rankings for the draft, he's RB 15 or something. So interesting to see. they got a lot of problems, and I don't see them getting that much better. But we'll see with Dayball.
They're going to be a bad team. It's going to be okay for Dayball because they're going to let him wipe the slate clean, and he's going to try to get one of these young quarterbacks and rebuild. Kenny Golladay is going to get up out of there after this year. I think they're going to be like, hey, dude, you're not on our timeline. They're going to be bad for another 3 or 4
year
years.
2 of that contract, though, and they gave him like a 4 or 5 year deal.
Somebody will take it off. Somebody who's a player away will take that bad contract. Sam Darnold got dealt for.
Once the Falcons, if we don't bring back Ridley, we'll take him on for a year. I mean,
that would be dumb because he's Drake London, same person.
Yeah, they're like taller guys, but clearly,
hey, so we're not going to talk about the Commanders because they don't command our attention. Let's get to the Eagles, the team that's going to win the division. I hate it. They're going to win the division.
9-8.
I didn't say they're going to win it pretty. I just think that they actually improved. I like Jordan Davis. I like Nakobe Dean. Yeah, go dog sick 'em. I think that the creativity that Nick Sirianni found with their offense last year and utilizing the Lincoln Riley offense for Jalen Hurts instead of trying to make him a drop back passer, I think that pays dividends. And now that they have Jalen Hurts, a number 1 receiver, I think he looks a lot better. And honestly, I think they win games, and I think they have to pay him. I don't think he earns the pay. I think he gets overpaid, but I think he and Tua alike are going to have seasons that get them paid.
I think that I like their draft. I'm with you. I did like the draft, of course. It's going to be hard as a Dogs fan to not like that draft. You got the 2 best players on the defense. I mean, I know that Walker went 1, of course, to Jacksonville.
Yeah.
But based on production for the Georgia team, those were your 2 guys. And they're both up the middle. Nakobe's inside and Jordan's inside. So, stout defense. Obviously, nobody ran the ball in Georgia, and you barely could throw on them, too. And Nakobe's athletic enough, and I know they had all those injury concerns, but he can drop back, too. I love the draft. I think Miles Sanders is a guy that's a little bit overrated. Josh is the one.
I think he's better than Saquon Barkley as a pro.
Sure. They're both Penn State guys, right?
Yep.
Sure. Sure. He's had a better career so far, no doubt. But you're adding more tread to a guy, and they already were. The Eagles have always been a team, funny enough, that's been kind of committed. Even Deuce Staley, Buckhalter, they've always kind of ran a committee there. But my thing is this. If Jalen Hurts is found out, look, there's one thing to be pounding it in the red zone and nobody knows who's getting the ball. And then now you've got a fast guy that can slant, and then you got a guy that you can throw it up to, an A.J. Brown. And, of course, Goddard's bigger than Ertz at tight end. There's one thing to be in that position where every goal line stance, you feel like you always feel like you've got the advantage. But like, and it's not this attack on black quarterbacks or anything like that. I'm curious as to how great Jalen Hurts is going to be at the line of scrimmage. How is he going to? Is Nick going to be really in his ear? I want to know, is he going to be able to go out there and pick apart defenses? Because that, to me, is going to be the difference in how good he's going to be this year.
I think
that's the next step. We know that he's got the physical ability, and even though he's a little undersized in terms of what people want out of a quarterback, he's not as fast as Lamar, right? He's not like that type of guy. But he doesn't throw the ball pretty enough. He's not as good a passer as Dak even. I'm curious as to, can he get it to where he can win them possessions at the line of scrimmage? And I just don't know if I see it. And I get the creativity that you like in Sirianni. I need to see it in year 2. I've seen guys flame out after the first year and they get found out too. And so,
no, I agree. I'm just optimistic on Jalen because this goes against what I normally believe in, but he's a gamer.
Okay, that's fair.
And I don't like to live off of gamer because most gamers were on great college teams, and who gives a damn? But I think he has some of that Jimmy G in him, that James Garoppolo in him, that as long as everything around him is right, he's going to be right. But let's get off of this division. Let's go up north.
Okay.
NFC North. NFC North is going to be interesting because I think the Vikings might be good.
We are on the same page. I think they win the division. I think
they got better, and I think the Packers got worse. And
that's why. And I just think that if there's a time for Kirk Cousins to ever break through, he doesn't have Zimmer. He doesn't have Mike Zimmer to be kind of his scapegoat whipping boy.
I don't got Zimmer holding back no more.
He doesn't have that. Justin Jefferson should be better naturally. They need to hope that Thielen stays healthy a little bit. He's firmly in that position after they gave him that new extension. So even with Kellen Mond a year or two, I don't think Kellen Mond's ready regardless, but like he doesn't have to really worry about his job. So that's safe. Dalvin Cook is still
Dalvin Cook
in terms of, and certainly a top 5 back that can receive and run.
If
I don't know too much about what they did defensively. They didn't make any big defensive moves.
I'm looking up the draft picks right now.
Let me see. They
got a cornerback out of Clemson, Andrew Booth.
Let me see.
Let's see.
They signed
they got Sane from Georgia at safety. A guard out of LSU, a linebacker out of Oklahoma. I don't trust
Jordan Hicks.
Huh?
They got Jordan Hicks and Zadarius Smith. Zadarius Smith was one of the Smiths in Green Bay. I know the other Smith too. Crazy enough, Preston Smith. He went to Stevenson. Matter of fact, I went to elementary and middle school with him. But I can't pick them to win the division because I just can't pick Kirk Cousins over Aaron Rodgers. But I would not place a wager on that division. This is Pat Peterson's second year there, right?
Yeah, I don't know if he's still good.
And I know that he's on the back end of.
Yeah, I don't know if he's still good, and I
a good safety.
I don't have my PFF subscription anymore because I wasn't looking at it to see how they rate him.
I just have a gut feeling that this is a team questionable head coach hire. They got they
hire tall Sean McVay, right?
Yeah, they got the other. He was with the Chargers, though. I thought because McDaniels was the Rams OC, or was he the quarterbacks coach?
Kevin O'Connell. He was the Rams. He was the Rams OC, but he didn't call plays.
Okay, so that's why I question it a little. I mean, I like it because I just think that Green Bay is, like you said, I think Green Bay takes enough of a step back. I mean, we'll see how good Rodgers is throwing to guys we've never heard of.
I think he's going to be okay.
Brady do it. Brady did it. Like, I remember when Jabbar Gaffney was like one of Brady's like targets legitimately, and they were still winning 12 games. But like, I don't think, considering that they've literally won 13 games every year Matt LaFleur has been there, I don't see it this year. I like their run game. I think that Green Bay is going to be heavy on the run game because A.J. Dillon is good and Aaron Jones is good. So
what I read earlier this week is the Packers are trying to build a Patriots-esque team with defense, running game, and Aaron Rodgers makes plays when he needs to, but they're not going to rely on him to throw for 5,000 yards and 50 touchdowns. So,
and we already know he doesn't turn the ball over very much. So if his attempts go down, hell, he already only is throwing 5 or 6 picks a year. And typically, even in those 5 or 6 picks a year, he has that one game where he throws 2 or 3. And
right.
That's typically what makes up a lot of those numbers, even for him. So
let's look at the schedule real quick, though. We got Packers, Vikings, Lions, Saints, Bears, Dolphins, Cards, Commanders, Bills, Cowboys, Pats, Jets, Lions, Colts, Giants, Packers, Bears. I don't like their schedule.
This is Green Bay, right?
No, this is Minnesota.
Okay.
I don't like their schedule. because I think that no matter what the Patriots' record is, Bill Belichick will outcoach O'Connell. He'll force 3 turnovers on Kirk Cousins.
I am still in favor of Minnesota. They're certainly going to be the team that challenge. And this will get us to the next team. And I think you know where I'm going with this.
These frisky Lions?
God damn it, man. I think that they're going to be
7 wins, baby.
Yeah, honestly, give me that. And I think that if they shock people, they get to 9.
Bro.
That's really like, it's not funny because it's like, I think people think Jared Goff is Baker Mayfield or something. And he really isn't. Jared Goff threw for almost 5,000 yards, went to a Super Bowl. Now, yeah, McVay is his coach, and we can give McVay more credit than we can him. But I just think that Dan Campbell, you want to talk about, they were talking about Coach T being the motivator. That's who that motherfucker is. If there's not coaching and there's motivation, it's him. Bro, he's the motivator.
Jared Goff is closer to Matt Ryan and Derek Carr than the NFL media will allow us to say. Not Matt Ryan at his peak, Matt Ryan today.
Okay, old Matt Ryan, sure. I'm saying
in that 12 to 16 range.
Fair. I think he's better than Ryan Tannehill.
I don't know how I feel about Ryan Tannehill.
I think that if Detroit wanted to trade Ryan Tannehill, if the Titans wanted to trade Ryan Tannehill for Jared Goff, that Detroit would possibly say no. Probably.
I wouldn't trade it. Unless you're giving me 2 1s.
They would probably say no. And so
think about their weapons, right? You got my man out of Jacksonville that came up there. You got Jameson Williams. You got Amon-Ra St. Brown. You got running back out of Georgia. You got running back from Green Bay. They got some weapons. That offense is going to be frisky. Brought in a new OC because my man's wasn't getting it done. What's his name? Lynn.
Yeah, Anthony Lynn.
Yeah, he wasn't getting it done.
He was fired after year 1 when they knew they were going to be bad.
You know what? It is what it is. But they have a weird staff. They have a heavy player staff, like former player staff, right? And I think that creates an authentic football environment. There's not a lot of faking going on because when your coaches have been players, they know how y'all really give it up. So I think there's a lot of
Aaron Glenn is the defensive coordinator there, and I remember that because when I saw him, Aaron Glenn. You may not remember him. So when the Texans were in their inaugural year, he was like their best corner. I just remember because I used to play Madden. He was like a 91.
That name sounds familiar.
He played for the Saints too. And I think he coached there actually last year as the second coach. Yep, and they hired him as the DC. And so he's a former player, though. It's just funny you're bringing that up because these are things we played them on Friday in preseason, but like these are things that I'm kind of remembering. But I want you to just look at this real quick. The Lions depth chart. Jared Goff.
Okay.
2 running backs, Swift and Jamal Williams, formerly of the Packers.
Yep. Solid.
Rod St. Brown. Very solid,
bro. He's the reason why I didn't win he's the reason why I didn't win the championship in fantasy this year.
You should have beat Dale. DJ Shark.
Yep.
Somebody that I kind of wanted the Falcons to bring in. Jameson Williams. So those are your 3 wide receivers. Not a bad core for Jared Goff. TJ Hawkinson's obviously a gamer.
Top 5 tight end, yeah.
Not to mention Dan Campbell's a former tight end. So of course. And Iowa's tight end, even though Georgia is coming for this spot. I'm telling you.
Boy,
they are and we're gonna get into our college stuff, another pod, but boy, they coming for it. But Iowa's tight end for now. So Hawkinson. Remember, they drafted Penei Sewell.
Yep. He looked good too.
Defense, they got Michael Brockers, solid.
Yeah.
They got Aiden Hutchinson on the other end.
We'll see what he becomes. I saw what Georgia did to him.
I did too, but let's just say can he be decent? Can he be a 6.5, 6-7 sack guy in his rookie year?
Hopefully.
If so, good contributions in year one.
Hopefully he's not Michael Sam.
They drafted Jeff Okudah. I don't really know how good Jeff Okudah is, but remember, third pick out of Ohio State, football factory.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I don't see how this group doesn't potentially start cooking with some grease. If they're motivated enough.
Let's pull up that Lions schedule.
You got Eagles week 1 at home. They're at home.
They could win that.
They could definitely shock them. You got Washington week 2. Could definitely win that.
I think they're winning that.
At Minnesota, I'd count it as a loss. But division game. Last year they beat them at the last second. Seattle
wins.
Certainly a winnable game at home. At New England, that's a loss.
Probably.
Bye week early. At Dallas.
Probably a loss.
Probably not winning. Miami, you better win that because you got Green Bay next week, and we know that they just don't beat Green Bay. Doesn't matter how good they are, they just don't beat Green Bay.
That's a loss.
So really need to beat that Miami game, but probably lose. Green Bay probably lose. At Chicago, that's a win. And if you can get that momentum and beat the Giants at New York, a team that you can beat, you're in shape. You're in shape. You're in shape headed into Thanksgiving against Buffalo, who should probably fucking thrash you. But you've got enough momentum to where it could be a game, and everybody's like, "Yo, Jack." They only play Jacksonville. They get Minnesota again. They're at the Jets. They're at Carolina. They play Chicago, and then they got Green Bay. Why not? Why not?
Let me see. Let's just count out: Bears 1, Panthers 2, Jets 3, Jaguars 4, Giants 5. Bears 6. We're going to hold on the Dolphins. Seahawks 7. Commanders 8.
Possible Philly upset.
Possible Philly. Possible upset. Maybe Dolphins. Yeah.
I'm just saying they're not winning the division, but why not be?
There's 8-9 is real.
Why not be a serious overachiever this year, and then everybody's really talking about you next year.
And then you'll grab a couple of free agents because you go, they were 8-9.
And Dan Campbell will possibly have it cooking. Who knows?
And bite kneecaps.
Possibly have it cooking. Last team, we're not going to spend too much time on them. The Bears, they're going to suck dick. I hate it for Justin Fields, but they're going to suck dick.
Free Roquan, free Justin Fields. Justin Fields is going to get a bad rap for not being a good quarterback because he's on a terrible franchise who has supported him terribly. And it's just not, he's not going to look good. He's not going to look good consistently on film because he's not going to have the support around him. And they hired Eberflus, who's going to run cover 3 and not going to offensively support him properly.
This might sound crazy, but who knows? Maybe somebody saves him. Maybe
come home.
Maybe the Atlanta Falcons.
Maybe we right or wrong.
Maybe the Falcons win enough games to where they're the 8th pick and they want to do that. And they say, we'll send you Ritter. We'll send you future. Depending on how bad, if he plays bad, even.
If the Bears are worse than us, which they probably will be.
I think the Bears should be the worst team in the NFL this year.
And Fields doesn't look good. And we can't get CJ or Bryce. It's like, hey, send them. Come on, we'll give you a 2.
I was going to say, if they don't want to change quarterbacks, Will Anderson is going to go to Chicago because
Chicago loves defense,
and he's going to be a dog in the league too. I mean,
let's talk about our favorite division.
We are all here to do what Falcons do. Look at that!
All right, man. NFC South. It's Brady's division to lose. 13-4.
I mean, if things really go right, I know that now they're having that center issue, which with a guy like Brady, I mean, he'll coach up whomever is.
Hey, yo, hike it on time, bro.
Well, if not, he'll he's the type that say, look, I'm gonna wear a ring during the game. I'm gonna smack your fucking balls if you don't do it correct. And they're gonna be like, he's like, you ever seen how big a Super Bowl ring is? He's just like, I didn't think so, motherfucker. He's like, so snap the fucking ball correctly. And so I think that is honestly a little concern, even with Tom Brady. At the end of the day, center is a very important position. That's where that's where the fucking snap starts. So important, but all in all, come on, let's keep it real. They got a first place schedule. They're gonna play plenty of primetime games, and they're gonna win a lot of them too. You like 13-4? I'm gonna be honest with you. I like 14-3. I think they coast this season.
I think they coast this season. And they discipline a lot.
They have a legitimate chance at sweeping the division, and I know that he hasn't beaten New Orleans in the regular season.
So
yeah, which is so crazy. But Sean Payton also doesn't coach the Saints anymore, and I get it that the defense
same DC, same OC though.
I know that Dennis Allen's the coach, but and I know Jameis is itching to go back to Tampa and play them and win. And I'm a big Jameis Winston guy, and we'll get to New Orleans. But nah, man, I think Brady's out here for perfection this season. I think that he came back because he realized, wait a minute,
he couldn't go to Miami.
Well, I can't go to Miami. I barely lost to the Rams. Hell, if I didn't get off to such a bad start, we probably would have won that game, and we would have won the Super Bowl if we played Cincinnati. I would have beat the shit. Hell, he would have made a joke wrong to Cincinnati after they won the NFC Championship against Green Bay or some shit. Or San Francisco. And so I think that he's out for perfection. I think he wants to get that 8th title and then that be it for him, and he sails off into the sunset.
And honestly, not making a prediction, I wouldn't be shocked if that happens.
We'll get to our Super Bowl prediction here at the end, but yeah, I like 14 wins, honestly. It's so crazy. I think they have the best record in the NFL this season.
And here's the thing, bro, if Julio's healthy, when Godwin comes back, that's nasty. That's nasty.
Well, you'd argue that Godwin's your slot, and Russell Gage is really almost on the field just for –
Oh, I forgot about Gage. Oh,
and remember, they still got Scotty Miller. It is the most talented receiving core in the NFL, and possibly in NFL history, if Julio is healthy. And their only Achilles heel or kryptonite is Leonard Fournette, and if his ass is really as fat as they said he is. Because if he came into camp looking like Eddie Lacy,
he'll lose.
They're going to be able to run the ball, but
he'll lose it.
I think back to our fantasy trade.
Where
I sent you Leonard. Lenny didn't do shit for me 4 weeks into the season, and I'm like 1-3 or something, or maybe it was week 5, and I was getting ready to drop to like 2-4 or something, and I was just like, or week 6 or something, and I had to get him off my hands, and you were willing to give me Gibson, who had been mediocre to a degree. I mean, he was getting you like 8 points a game. I wasn't getting that out of Lenny, and so he was at least giving you 8 if he didn't score a touchdown, and I was okay with that. And it ended up being the worst trade ever because you got Deebo Samuels in the deal. I thought I was getting an RB1. You really got the RB1, and you got a top 3 wide receiver in fantasy.
Yeah, bro,
it was unbelievable. I've never been fleeced like that in a trade before. And everybody was killing you because you gave me Michael Thomas too, who ended up not playing. And that was a part of the deal. I had to get I had to get Slant Boy, which I guess that'll get us into the Saints.
No, you gave me Slant Boy.
What else did you give me then? I gave you Fournette, Deebo.
I gave you Gibson and a good player. It looked bad, but
it was a receiver.
Yeah, you gave me Slant Boy to add.
He was supposed to play in like 3 weeks.
Right, to make me want to take it, which I would have taken it without Slant Boy. And then I got killed in the group text. I go, and I remember that one dude who didn't know who I was in the league was like, who took that trade? Hey, hey, bro, you don't talk to me.
He's out of the league this year. He was
exactly because he don't talk
to me. It was Manny.
Yeah. You don't talk to me, okay? I'm a staple in this league. I got respect in this league. If I make a trade, even if Parlay Pete thinks he's fleecing me, I got respect amongst the people in this league because I don't make a lot of trades. I'm the Green Bay Packers. We develop.
Hold on. I really want to find out who you traded me. And I've got the app up. We can move on to the Saints, but – I really want to know who you gave me because you did give me a receiver.
'Cause you gave me a receiver.
I really want to know who you gave me because you did give me a receiver. 'Cause 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 you did give me a receiver. ' They wiped this stuff.
They wipe it away?
Hold on. I can't click it. Like they have our results, but I can't see who was on the team.
Well, it worked out for me. I got into the championship and then I lost. It hurt because Dale won and Dale's not good at fantasy football.
I don't think anyone was happy with the result.
So the Saints, the Saints, they could win 11 games. They could win 7 games. I don't know. I got to see it on the field. I don't know. I don't know how many games Kamara's going to play. Olave's supposed to be good, but I don't know if he's going to be good. So it's I don't know. And we've lost Parlay Pete. That's not good. But yeah, so I think the Saints will finish second in the division. If I pull up their schedule real quick, I think that'll tell us the full story of what's happening with them. But they have a good team, right? They're bringing back their defense. They're bringing back pretty much their offense, but they lost their head coach. Sean Payton, the guy who made everything happen over there. And they have Dennis Allen, who was their DC. He's still going to be running things, and they have their same OC. So the staff looks the same, but we're going to see how much influence Sean Payton had on them. Week 1, Falcons, I think they win. Week 2, Bucks, they lose. Week 3, Panthers, they win. Week 4, Vikings, they lose. So what are we? 2-2. Seahawks, 3-2. Bengals, 3-3. Cards, 3-4. Raiders, 3-5. Ravens, 3-6. Steelers, 4-6. Rams, 4-7. Niners, 5-7. Bucks, they get 1. 6-7. Browns, 6-8. Eagles, 7-8. Panthers, 8-9. You know what? I just went through the Saints schedule. I think they're 8-9 as much as I just talked them up, and I think they're 8-9. So
they got a second place schedule. By the way, I don't know what just happened there. Internet didn't go. I don't know. I
don't know either. So I go Falcons week 1, Saints 1-0.
Wouldn't be surprised that, by the way.
Bucks at home, 1-1. Panthers, 2-1.
Okay.
Vikings at home, 2-2. Seahawks at home, 3-2. Bengals at home, 3-3. Cardinals on the road, 3-4. Raiders at home, 3-5. Ravens at home, 3-6. Steelers on the road, 4-7.
They got a lot of home games to start, don't they?
Yeah. Steelers at home, 4-7. Steelers on the road, 4-7. Rams at home, 4-8. Niners on the road. This is the upset I'm going to give them. 5-8. Bucks on the road, 6-8. Just throw it out there. Falcons. Yeah, it's an upset. Falcons at home.
The Falcons are good they're good to get them one.
You know what?
Falcons at home. Week 1.
Falcons are going to win 1, but here's their last game.
I think that everybody is totally shocked after week 1, and people are kissing Arthur Smith's ass just for us to win, 5 games or something.
But I said all of that to say that as much as the Saints are going to be around 500, just by virtue of schedule.
Similarly to Denver.
Yeah. just in a worse division. So let's get to our Falcons.
We are all here to do what Falcons do. Look at that!
The drums would have been a perfect thing for you to just say.
What's up now?
Actually, I meant Panthers.
Hold on. Something's going on here. I can't hear myself. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Well, I can't hear you. What the hell is going on here? Say something.
How about this one?
No, I can't hear nothing. 1 second. Hello? No, I can't. I still can't hear anything. Give me a second. What is going on? Hey, you talk about the Falcons, and I'm going to leave and come right back because I don't know what the hell is going on here.
If there's anything I can do, I can talk about the Falcons. We're going to go ahead and kick off the Falcons preview with the idea that anyone that watches Falcons football or knows anything about Falcons football knows that this season is the official first page of the non-Matt Ryan era. Can you hear me? No?
Keep going. I can't hear.
This is the first official this is the start of a new era. Oh, you can hear me now.
Yeah.
I said that to kind of start off, I said anyone that knows anything about the Falcons this season is that this is the first page of our new era. And there's no expectation coming into it. And even as a bit subjective look or bias look at kind of the season, I'm also going to be this season, if there's any season I can be real about it, it's this year. I don't expect much out of this team. I'm excited to see really if they hit on any of these picks. And so I was kind of a fan of Drake London. I don't know if we needed wide receiver there, but I'm glad we didn't draft a quarterback at them because clearly they didn't need to. And that was my biggest thing going in. There were people talking about Malik Willis. It was just a lot of smoke. And I personally understood why they went wide receiver. I was hoping defense. I think that once Thibodeau went to New York, that was completely out of the question. And then once we didn't get old boy from NC State on the line, that it was, man, we got to really go best player available. And I think that on their board, I'm not mad at the Drake London pick because I know it's early and everybody wants to trash me for my take on it. But I think that with Drake London, we're talking about a guy who, in my opinion, ceiling is Mike Evanish. And so I just like the idea of it when I saw him working out. I didn't watch too much Pac-12 football, especially early in the season when he was actually playing. But the numbers were encouraging on a bad team. And he did go to USC, which has been a football factory, for the last 40 years, 50 years since OJ. So it's one of those things where he's a freak athlete because we saw him in the gym. Yeah, he can ball, and he played at USC when he got there. So, he just decided to go football instead of ball, which not mad at him. He had a better chance of making it in the NFL than he did the NBA. Because if you're not a dog in basketball, you're not going to the fucking NBA. You can be a dog and not go to the NBA. So, freak athlete. I like the transition. I like that pick. I like D'Angelo Malone, local kid. He went to Cedar Grove. He was the AAC Defensive Player of the Year twice at Western Kentucky. Really enjoyed that pickup.
Shout out to Western Kentucky. They recruited me back in high school.
Yeah. Shout out to Western Kentucky. I think didn't Bobby Petrino coach there a little bit? That was like his job after the Louisville or Arkansas fiasco. But nonetheless, I love that pickup. That was one that really dude clearly is a football player. I give this guy a chance because everything that he accomplished in smaller division football, I get it. But everything that he accomplished tells me that this guy's look, the transfer portal just became a thing a year ago. And maybe he could have been one of those fifth-year guys that went and played at Penn State. He could have played it. We don't know. He could have played one of these places. He was high on a lot of people's boards when I would read out about later that this guy was by far the best Division 1AA player all around in that league. So, I'm okay with the pickup. I enjoy that pickup. I don't want to get too much into all the pickups, but
after learning about him and doing a little bit of research, I go, I get it. Nakobe has the injury concerns, and you know what? 1 year in fantasy, I drafted Dez over Julio, not because I thought that Dez was better than Julio. I just don't like to draft players from the hometown team, and
the Falcons have been allergic to that for years. I mean, they did end up drafting the O-lineman and the tight end with the last pick, but
it's one of those things where it's like, hey, man, we're gonna stay away from these Georgia guys because. And I think the medicals, I think the Falcons had the best view on the medicals with Nakobe. And they just go, we like the talent, but we don't like the medicals. And we're not in a position. Like, if we miss on this guy, I feel like we can tell Rich, hey, Rich, stall me out. Let me get one more year. But if you go with Nakobe, who you know is a talent, but you know the obvious injuries, if that shoulder goes out in week 3, it's like, bro.
Well, the scouts are like the scouts that get hired to do this stuff, and the medical guys are like, "We told you he was fucking not healthy." What,
exactly?
But Miles Jack used to have that too. Him coming out, that was like a huge concern for him. I remember some people thought that I remember when Miles Jack was toting that rock at UCLA, and was a hell of a tackler and everything, and like his injury history was that big concern. And he was a guy that fell out of the first round. He was supposed to be like a top 15, top 10 pick.
Well, he played like it. Didn't he go to Pittsburgh?
He went to UCLA.
No. I'm talking about Pittsburgh like now.
He did from Jacksonville.
He's a Steeler. Yeah, he's a Steeler.
Yeah, from Jacksonville. But the point is, people were predicting he had a 5-year NFL career because of the injury concerns. It's held up pretty well. So I hope I hope that Nakobe Dean has a long, successful career. But at the same time, they need to be right about this pick too, because that's going to be controversial.
So here's what I think is going to happen to our Falcons. I think we're going to end up in a Ryan Tannehill, Jimmy G quarterback situation because we're going to end up winning 6 games. And we're going to be too far away from the top. And we're not going to be able to make a move to get there. So it's, what do we do next? Like, what do we do instead?
I don't want to be there. I just want to either do bad or we actually legitimately compete.
I don't want to be there either, but I think that's where we find ourselves.
But that's what we just were this year. And then it just defeats the purpose of getting rid of Matt Ryan.
I know. But maybe we say, hey, with James Garoppolo, we got 10 more years of solid quarterback play. And if we do everything else right.
10? Are you fucking smoking over there?
8?
5. At best. What is Jimmy G, 30?
Yeah, 30.
He's not the type of guy I see playing till 40. He already is injury prone. 5 at best, and he'll probably miss a season and a half within that 5 if that's the case. But we'll have him on a good number. That'll be the thing. We will have him on a good number. He's not getting $40 million. He's going to get
he's 91. He might. He's November 2nd, 91. He's 30.
He's 30. So, yeah, 5 at most. And like I said, with injuries compiled and based on what we do know, even though he was a backup for 4 years, 3 years, whatever it was, he's missed seasons. 5 years tops for him. 10, come on, 10? That's what I said. What are you smoking? Like, what is over there?
Yeah, he's not playing the 40. I say 5, but I think
– Are they putting something in that Anheuser-Busch?
Huh?
I said, are they putting something in that Anheuser-Busch that I don't know about?
No. I think that
and tequila, but
I think that Arthur goes after James Garoppolo or his guy Ryan Tannehill this offseason if we're not,
or maybe Justin Fields is available. I don't know, or maybe Jalen Hurts is available. Who knows?
Or maybe Baker Mayfield's available.
Oh no! Well, they didn't want him this offseason, so I don't know why.
Hey, so let's get to the last team in our division. So we got a quarterback battle going on between Baker and Sam Darnold. All reports are saying Sam Darnold's on the trading block. No one's trading for him.
Pretty much. They just at that point, he's going to sit there and hope that Matt Rule gets fired by week 8, maybe week 9, wherever their bye week lands. If it's not a late one, it's like midseason. They're going to hope that they're about 2-7 or something like that. And maybe Sam gets another shot at showing that he can at least be a high-end backup or something. Bold prediction, and I hate it. I think they're worse than us. Now, they can be better than us, but they have a lot of ifs to be better than us. Baker Mayfield has to play as well as he did 2 years ago, and Christian McCaffrey has to be healthy. I think that combination, they'll win more game than us, personally, just because they're running back, quarterback. And if you listen to Josh, DJ Moore is the best thing since sliced bread. And so he's better than –
I don't listen to Josh in anything. I saw his group chat basketball ratings.
Josh has got an opinion that can't be changed. And so
Josh will probably put Donovan McNabb in the Hall of Fame.
Funny enough, me and Justice, when we talked about that whole Matt Stafford thing, the jersey number with Jamison Williams there, we talked about that in a sense.
Did you call him?
Huh?
Did you call him after he tried to compare it to Matt Ryan?
I called him out on the group. I didn't call him, but
okay.
But I had said I already had answered to that. I said that's not a fair comparison.
No, not at all.
But the comparison I did make, I said it'd be more like Donovan McNabb with the Eagles, and that isn't even a good comparison, but it's closer in my opinion because McNabb did go to a Super Bowl. McNabb did go to 5 NFC championships, but McNabb never overwhelmed anyone. I don't think.
Matt Stafford, I think his raw talent gives him more respect than he deserves as a quarterback.
But it also helps. Now, granted, he's playing with the best defensive player of all time. Hell, we're already done with Carolina. Let's just get to the NFC West and start with them because we're already talking about them. I think that his talent, your truth, raw talent, great quarterback. He always had kind of injury concerns too, but was tough, would play through them. And the thing is that he played in Detroit. They never had – I'll give him this. If there's one thing that Matt Ryan always had over Matt Stafford, it was occasionally he would have a better running game because we got to see it with Michael Turner and we got to see it with Devonte Freeman / Tevin Coleman for 2 years essentially. And then for Turner, it was 3 years. So about 5 years of Matt Ryan's career, we had a top 10 type running game.
Hey, you need to get this from Mariano.
Send it. Yeah. But that's one thing I'll say. Matt Stafford never had a true running game. And so I thought that they fired Caldwell prematurely. And I think that we all saw how that backfired for the Lions.
Bro, that's some of the dumbest shit they've ever done. Hey, you need a coach to get us over the top.
Motherfucker had the 3 years he coached there, he had 2 winning seasons, including a playoff appearance. 9-7 one year, and then they were 10-6 one year. They made playoffs.
Well, they were 7-9 the other year?
Yeah, and then the last year, they weren't even, it wasn't even
bad.
They were just middle of the pack, and it wasn't like that roster was built to be a playoff team. Bro. They were just built to be middle of the pack, and he overachieved with it. And of course, Caldwell coached Peyton Manning to that second Super Bowl. Granted, it was Dungy's team, but
you know what?
We give Tony Dungy a lot of credit, man.
I'm a Caldwell guy because Caldwell got killed and fired for that 2-14 season, and they were tanking.
They used to say Peyton Manning was an artist. But now they have a painter because Curtis Painter, I remember, was the quarterback of the Colts that year. Funny enough, my oldest brother Larry, he's got a picture with my mom. That's one of the games that they went to. I think that was freshman year because that was Julio's rookie year. But
you want to hear something that inspired me about your life?
What?
Because like I'm a dad to be and all that shit, right? Not this season, but next season. My 8-month-old is gonna be strapped in the daddy harness game 1.
You gotta do it.
Like earmuffs on, all that stuff to protect the young baby ears. But nah, baby's whatever game daddy's at, baby's invited to.
Absolutely. And let me tell you, that's one of the things I need to do with Mari. But what, you know, and maybe it's because I was a boy, but what it is too, you know, like I said, my mom, she told me this a long time. I was born to be a Falcons fan.
No, like, bro, when you told me how old were you when you went to your first game?
I'm born. My birthday's in 11 days, and so I'm born during preseason. So I went to my first game. 2 weeks would have been week 1. I went to my first football game at 2 weeks old.
Yeah, so
wearing a Falcon baby material, like
so that right there. I'm like, hold on, I'm gonna have season tickets when my firstborn is born. Yeah, no, you're coming. You're indoctrinated into this shit, just like Pops.
Now we got to get Sen on board. Is she Falcon or is she still going 49er or Raider or what is she?
Oh, she's a 49ers fan, but she carries a. So my mom bought these, like, you know how they make you bring the clear bags in?
Mm-hmm.
So she bought like 2 clear bags, and she carries a clear Falcons bag to work every day. And she often sleeps in my Braves World Series t-shirt. So I think she's crossing over. Her dad doesn't.
Keep going.
Her dad's not necessarily on board because he's a 49ers fan, and you know, but I think I'm crossing wife over to become a Falcons fan because she just understands, you know, like that's what we do here. You know, this is a Falcons house. Not only do we watch the games and we support the birds, but we physically go watch and support the birds. And let me tell you, once you make that investment into the birds, you know, like, hey, either my tickets, either my seats, you become a different level of fan. Like you have a different level of buy-in. You know, you look over my shoulder, right? We got the since 1966 right here, baby. On the other side, hell, she bought it for me. Got that Georgia up there, that bird up there. Let them know it's Falcon time, baby. It's you know what we do.
We are all here to do what Falcons do. Look at that.
But here's what I tell you, though, while Parlay Pete's away, is I'm going to short the Rams. For one, they're trying to repeat, not going to happen. But also, Matt Stafford is having the shoulder, the elbow issues. If you come into training camp hurt, you go into the season hurt. If you go into the season hurt, you end the season hurt. And I'm shorting them. I'm not saying that they're not going to be a playoff team, but I'm saying that they're going to underachieve. And if there's a team that you want to put your faith in, your hope in, tell you what, put your hope and your faith in the 49ers. I believe in Kyle Shanahan. I believe in that system. I believe in that roster. And I believe in what Trey Lance is going to bring to that team. Yes, he's been struggling with accuracy, but he's not struggling with accuracy because he's a terribly inaccurate quarterback. He's struggling with accuracy because they're reworking his throwing motion. So by them reworking his throwing motion, there's going to be ups and downs in that training camp process. But I'm confident that Kyle's going to figure out that play call sheet to best support them. I'm very confident that Quincy Avery, his quarterback coach, is going to figure out how to coach him through these adjustment changes to ensure that he is a more than serviceable quarterback. And moving forward, he is kind of the guy that they want in San Francisco. He's that step above James Garoppolo. And he's going to be worth the 3 first-round picks that they moved to get him. I truly believe that. Let me tell you, the Seahawks, they'll get no play around here. Have nothing to say about you guys. You're not going to be good. Drew Lock or Geno Smith is going to be your starting quarterback. 12th man's not coming out to see that. They should probably retain their tickets for when y'all get good again. But if you don't have tickets, now's the time to buy in. Low price. Parlay Pete's back. Beautiful. I was just giving a quick disclaimer why we don't want to talk about the Seattle Seahawks, and I was going to go to the Arizona Cardinals.
There's literally nothing to talk about there. Man, I guess wait until Pete Carroll retires. Does he want to maybe fall back to executive role? I mean, I don't know. That's them along with the Bears, two worst teams in the NFC. We're probably third, or Carolina's third. We're probably fourth. Ooh, gonna be rough. Unless they get Jimmy. If they might get James, I know that they won't want to trade him there. But if they give him a fifth, shit, why not? Why not? Because they can win 7 games with James, even in a tough division. I think they can go 6-11, 7-10. I think so.
So, question for you: do you want to call it a night at 2 hours and 40 minutes, or do you want to hit a little bit of college?
This is what I want to do. Let's run through 1 through 7 playoffs and then give NFC, AFC, and then Super Bowl. And we can do that in 5 minutes.
All right, bet. So then we'll talk.
We'll do college next year.
Bet. Because, I still got my board up here with my new conference layout that we haven't talked yet.
Yeah, college deserves its whole own thing, and then we'll be 1 week closer to that too. So let's finish.
I'm mad you're not going to be in the city college football weekend.
Man, let me tell you. I'm
going to be out at Nico's wedding. I mean, that's not a bad place to be, but
it isn't. But
yeah, Labor Day weekend, I'll be up north.
Yeah, because damn it, that is Labor Day. It's Labor Day weekend too. I keep forgetting. Fuck. Well, here's the thing. As long as I'm putting in my bet for week 1 college this weekend, while we're there, and then if I don't hit that bet, well, even if I do hit it, I'm going to go to Vegas to collect my cash Sunday, and then I'm coming home. So I'll be home Sunday.
Fair. But, hey, we need to figure out that time for the 26th too.
Yes. Let me here.
I got to confirm because I got to get everything right with cameraman.
Okay, hold on. Yes, because that was going to be a Friday. That's what I thought. I was like, yeah, it was definitely going to have to be a Friday. Let me do that, and then our draft on the 28th.
Yeah, it's that Sunday.
But you'll be here that weekend.
I'll be here. I'm going to drive up for the interview. I got to talk to the wife. Hopefully, she wants to stay here because the plan will be drive up for the interview. We do the interview. We do the photo shoot, and 27th, I just shoot right back the next night. You know what I mean? Like it's not a full weekend trip.
Okay, understood. I got you. All right, yeah. Here, I'll get that. You don't have to worry about that.
Okay, yeah. I just need to know a time so I can get cameraman right.
Okay, we're gonna do it here, and because it's set up kind of studio-ish, we're gonna do it over in this corner where I have that blow up. I'll pull everything out. Does the cameraman, is he gonna have because I guess we're gonna kind of sit.
He's gonna have multiple cameras, and he will have his own microphones. Like all we got to do is show up.
Okay, cool. I'll get everything cemented with him on that. It's late. I could text him. He might be up. Probably is up. But I'll call him tomorrow.
Okay. But let's get to our 7 teams, right? We want to talk about 7 teams for the playoffs.
NFL standings. That way I can just look at it and then remember. I know exactly who my divisions are, but I've got to get my wild cards right. All right, let's go. Let's start off with the AFC first.
Hey, let's just go. Let's go down the list as we briefed it or talked it. So AFC East, who you got winning the AFC East?
We're gonna go Buffalo.
Where's my?
We're gonna go Buffalo. They're the favorites, and I don't think they disappoint. I think that with the momentum and the heartbreak of last season, I know they had it the year before too, technically, but we're gonna go Buffalo.
I'm with you, Buffalo. Round 1. Damn, did I really not have a pin close to my desk?
If not, we got the private chat here to copy and paste.
What I just need something to look at because I'm old school.
I understood.
But no, we got Buffalo. I have Buffalo 2 out of AFC East. AFC North, who you got?
I'm rolling Cincinnati. I think that they got it.
Okay, so I'm going Baltimore.
Okay.
I got
South.
South. Colts.
Indy. Yeah, I think we were pretty much in it. And there won't be another team that makes the playoffs out of that division. But Indy.
No. And then in the West, I think I said Raiders, but it's Raiders or Chargers.
I'm going Chargers. I'm firm on Chargers.
Okay. And so I was going to say Chargers with you for the sake of this conversation, but I got 3 wild card teams.
Okay.
Who do you have in your wild card?
Wild card. We're going to go Raiders.
Okay.
I'm going to throw one out at you that a lot won't expect. I'm going to go Dolphins.
Okay.
AFC going to be tough this year, boy.
It is.
I'm not going to throw Cleveland in because I just don't know Deshaun Watson's status. If it's 6 games, I think that Cleveland's going to be that team.
Fair.
If it's over 6 games,
just go say Baltimore.
That's who I was going to say, but I don't want to be the shocker here. I think Kansas City still goes.
Okay.
Kansas City goes as long as Deshaun Watson does 6 or under. If he does 6 or over 6, Kansas City's my final team.
Okay, I'm not mad at that. So my differences is my wild card teams.
Mm-hmm.
Cincy, because I believe in Baltimore.
Understood.
But I like what Cincy's doing. I think what they're doing is replicable. I don't necessarily believe what is happening in Pittsburgh. They're gonna win. They're gonna muck it up and be a good bad team.
They're a team that's gonna have a losing record majority of the year, but you just never write off when you play.
Right.
Yeah.
And no, I think Deshaun Watson's gonna miss more games than he's gonna play. So I just can't buy into them. Cincy, Miami.
Oh, I'm glad. So we both agree on Miami.
Yeah, I think Miami's
we're
gonna
both
be
on
nice.
the train. All right, we're both on the train.
And then with the Chargers, I'm going with the Raiders.
I'm fair with that. We're pretty close. You just said Baltimore, and I'm gonna take.
Yeah, no, you're giving Kansas City like that. Yeah, that makes sense. So let's go through the NFC. NFC East, you got the Cowboys.
I'm taking Dallas again.
I got the Eagles. NFC North,
Minnesota.
I'm gonna go the Packers, understanding that Minnesota can easily win that division.
Okay.
NFC South.
Next.
Yeah, that's Brady.
You don't have to fucking say anything. Next. Come on.
Brady.
Where's
NFC West. NFC West.
Rams.
So I'm going 49ers.
You think Trey Lance is it then?
Not that I think Trey Lance is it. I'm shorting the Rams because of Matthew Stafford's elbow. I think that's real. I think it's going to have an effect on their season. And I'm going to go 49ers. Now,
I'm betting that they make a move to where they get James Garoppolo. And I know that sounds crazy, but even if they try to hamstring them and get, say,
I
bet money they're willing to do it to salvage the season, depending on how bad the elbow is. And if not, we know that they're not going to have him on the roster for week 1.
But
his contract is fully guaranteed after that preseason game. So they have to either trade him and somebody else gets him,
or they got to let him walk.
Cut him, and if he cut him, we know where he's going. He's going to go to the most quarterback-needy team that can win, and that's in LA.
So who your wild card teams?
This is the most juicy part because I feel like this is where we might defer.
Okay.
Green Bay.
Okay.
San Francisco.
Okay.
I want to throw in some bullshit for no reason at all.
Give it to me. Tell me the Saints.
It ain't Arizona either.
Just go say Dallas.
Dallas.
Say Philly. Say Philly. Say Philly because you got Dallas winning it. Just go say Philly. Washington.
Let me get Detroit.
Wow. So I can't go there, but here's where I'll tell you what I got. I got Minnesota as one of my wild cards. I have Dallas as a wild card. And I have the Rams as a wild card. So we're not that far off.
You're conservative with this. And the reason you're conservative, we just went through that Detroit schedule, literally. And we said 8 wins is too possible. If Jared Goff plays to the best that we've seen him play, and now he's year 2 there, and the weapons, I didn't want to say that 3 teams would come out of that division,
and that's where I struggle making a 3-team thing. And what
we went to New Orleans too, and we saw 5 and 8 at 13 through, and you're just big on Philly.
So here's what's going to happen:
Detroit beats Philly week 1.
No, but here's what I'll tell you.
It's not going to mean anything because it's week 1, but
it's going to matter because of tiebreakers. Here's what's going to happen though. I'm going to print out the schedule, and I'm going to mark every single game. And once I mark win-loss every game, some of these may change, right? Because I'm going to have an eye test thought that's not going to line up with my schedule thought.
And we might have injuries and stuff. So I tell you what, we'll call this the preseason predictions.
Absolutely.
Not the way too early, just the preseason.
Preseason predictions.
And then let's go NFC and AFC Championship and then Super Bowl, and then we're good.
All right, so NFC Championship. Who's going to – you asked me who's going to be in it or who's going to win it?
Who's going to be in it, and then from there, the Super Bowl will tell us who's going to be in it. I mean, who's going to win.
49ers, Packers.
Wow. Really?
Niners, Super Bowl.
Okay. I got Tampa, Rams.
Chalk.
Yeah, basically. Dallas would be the only other team that – Dallas won't make it. Let me – Tampa Bay, Rams. Give me Tampa.
I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that.
Now, let's hear about this AFC.
AFC?
I don't know why I feel like I can't feel your brain right now, but I don't know why we both have the same thing on our mind.
I don't know if we do because I'm thinking AFC, something like Baltimore, Buffalo.
Close enough.
I like Baltimore.
Oh, man, that's your Super Bowl team this year.
Big trust. Yeah, no, big trust.
Thing, then.
Yeah, big trust. Big trust for Super Bowl this year. That's where I'm at with it.
I'm going to go Indy, Buffalo. And I like Buffalo to beat Indy.
Here's the thing. If we get Indy, Buffalo, I'm telling you I like Indy. Because, I said this months ago.
Are you saying Matt Ryan gets this close?
Look here. I don't think Matt Ryan is a better quarterback than Josh Allen.
He isn't, not today.
But I trust Matt Ryan in a clutch situation more than I trust Josh Allen.
He's been there too many times. Well, he's been in such games that meant so much.
And if we talk about the Super Bowl, Matt took a terrible sack, but Matt dropped a dime to Sanu, and we had a holding call. Matt dropped a dime to Julio where he put he hit Santonio Holmes on the sideline. I can't put that Super Bowl loss on Matt. I can only just say Tom Brady is one hell of a man. That's all I can say.
It ain't Matt's fault. So Buffalo, Tampa Bay Super Bowl for me, and you guessed it, Tampa's going to win. I think Julio gets the ring. I think Tom gets his 8th. I think he rides off to the sunset, undisputed, because not only will he have doubled the next best quarterback Super Bowl wins, with that being Montana and Bradshaw at 4, he doubles it. He gets 2 more than Jordan. And Bill Russell's just not going to be catchable. R.I.P. to Bill Russell.
Yeah, R.I.P. to Bill Russell. But J.J. Redick was right. Bill Russell played against painters and lawnscapes. Man, I don't want to hear that shit. But, hey, you're right. I'm not mad at your take.
Yeah, that's
I know my 49ers Baltimore take is hot, super hot. But I think the hybrid offenses that they run and the coaches that they have and the defenses that they have provide uncomfortable matchups. And
go ahead.
But if Brady, I wouldn't be shocked if Brady catches the 49ers first or second round, I would bet on Brady.
You can't not. I mean, and they would be at home. They're going to have the best record in the NFL. But one more thing, too, because it's just hitting me.
Okay.
Because we're doing we need to hurry up and get the whole preseason thing out of the way. MVP, offensive player, defensive player, comeback, coach. Just rapid fire.
Golly.
Let's start coach first.
Start coach?
I think that if they go 14-3, like I kind of think it's going to be hard to not give what's-his-face coach of the year, even with Brady and that talented team.
GA from Morehouse.
Think about it, his name is fucking not even coming up.
Golly.
We know who we're talking about.
But yeah, but the viewers don't.
Former Jets coach.
Wow, we're trash. We're better than this.
I know. Hold on.
Todd Bowles.
Todd Bowles, coach of the year.
Todd Bowles, coach of the year. I like that. I will offer you Kyle Shanahan get some love.
Well, he has to. If everything that you think is going to happen, he almost has to.
Yeah.
If they win 11 games and they win that division and they're the 3,
Kyle Shanahan gets coach of the year.
Yeah, he almost has to. Yeah.
Who else we got? We got an offensive player of the year.
Let's do comeback first, because once we do offensive, I mean, it's not saying that it can't.
Derrick Henry's
offensive player of the year.
Derrick Henry's comeback player of the year. He's gonna run for 1,900, and no quarterback that we love got hurt.
They don't make the playoffs. Hold on, comeback. Who is hurt?
If Matt Ryan gets the Colts to a 2 seed, I think he could be a legitimate comeback player of the year, but people won't frame it that way.
They will, though. They're gonna be. That's how I have it. Hold on. Comeback. I'm trying to think really quickly on this.
I'm in his big league debut.
Hold on.
Swing, high fly ball, deep left field. Grissom.
Yeah. Over the big monster, first at bat, MLB.
Son of a bitch, man. You know his dad played for the Braves.
Bro, I remember Marquise Grissom.
Caught me out.
Yes, I remember Marquise Grissom.
Oh, all right. Justice didn't know that earlier when I said it. I was just like, yeah. I was like, his dad played. Because when I heard the name Grissom, I was like, so is that Marquise Grissom's son? Yeah.
Hey, Parlay Pete,
are you serious?
I'm 30. I'm not 25. I was there.
That's true. That is true. I'm sorry.
Remember, I'm the OG in the group text.
That's true too. Hold on. Because I needed to look who would even be in it.
Well, look up the odds.
Derrick Henry's the favorite. Henry's plus 400. James Winston's plus 500. Christian McCaffrey's plus 800. Baker's plus 1,000. Ooh, I got one that's kind of not really a comeback player, but we'll go ahead and just throw him in for the sake of it. Give me Michael Thomas at plus 1,600.
That's not a bad.
I like Michael Thomas.
Yeah, you know what? Let me throw my Matt Ryan in the trash.
Yards and 2 touchdowns. I don't know how he doesn't win it.
Is Derrick
Unless-
is Derrick Henry or
Unless Derrick
Stat Boy?
Henry goes for 1,615 touchdowns, then yeah, But Derrick Henry played half the season, literally.
Bro, what happens if Mariota goes for 3,500?
He's on the list at plus
700, 3,500, 700 rushing yards, 35 total TDs, and only 10 picks.
He's plus 2,000. He's on the list. J.K. Dobbins, Chris Godwin, Drew Lock, Cam Akers. Even they got Cam Akers playing the Super Bowl, but he can be up for comeback player of the year.
I throw some money on Mariota.
Needs a little bit of love.
I think that award is trash, honestly.
Who won this past year?
Who cares?
But think about it, we both agree Saquon's not winning.
Hell nah.
All right, good. Defensive player of the year.
I'm just gonna say Aaron Donald because that's the chalk thing to say. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who's gonna play good defense. I'm sure it's gonna be somebody else, but like I can't logically tell you who's gonna be a good defensive player, huh?
It's like picking Luka for MVP, huh? Or really Jokic at this point.
I'd never pick either.
I know. And Jokic got 2 in a row. All right.
Hey, our Jokic video is one of our most popular videos. So just know when basketball season comes back, we're like you know how Perkins talks that ESPN shit that they do that works. We're gonna really work the Luka and the Jokic corner because those are the videos that have gotten the most hate on YouTube. So we're living on that corner.
Everybody loves to hear a take on that shit. Oh boy. I tell you what.
Okay.
Because I had to look at team success too. And this guy came on really strong, and he's getting on literally what was the #1 rated defense. Let me go long shot, Von Miller.
For what award? Defensive Player of the Year?
DPOY, baby.
If he does what he did with the
Rams and with that unit, why not?
That's not.
And they should be the #1, #2 seed, theoretically. And they're in a tough. That division is much tougher now because the Jets, even as bad as they are a better bad team.
Frisky.
Yeah, they're going to be a better bad team.
In basketball terms, they're a league pass team.
The Bills are on national TV. Think about it, the Bills are about to do. They beat the shit out of New Orleans in Thanksgiving, and they're playing again on Thanksgiving. That is a team that everybody wants to watch play. And
I'm just letting you know we've done 3 hours. I'm probably going to chop this into part 1 and part 2.
That's fine.
I know you don't care.
That's fine. It'll be.
Hey, we actually got so when we get in front of each other, we got to talk about metrics, things that work. Like we got to have a whole business conversation behind this thing. But that's for later. Yeah,
we'll get it done. We just got started a little bit later.
Yeah, I just got to tell you certain stuff as I think about it because
understood.
What people don't understand is a lot of our personal conversations they actually happen here throughout the week.
That's true too. The actual talking aspect.
Yeah, like us just talking about life and shit. Like sometimes I call you, but then it'll be 2 a.m. and my wife is like, "Hey, get your ass in the bed, nigga."
Right. What are you cheating with that motherfucker? Like, yeah, it'll be something crazy.
Bro, let me tell you like the funny like that last time we were on the phone, right? We were on the phone for like 2 hours after doing a 3-hour pod. And she's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, talking to Pierce. She's like, "Didn't y'all just pod?" I go, "Yeah, but that was pod talk. This is like real life talk. Like we're still like close friends. So like pod talk is pod talk, but like now we're having friend talk."
Right.
I know you think that us talking to each other for like 5 hours.
Well, tell me that's why when you're in town, there's weekend of it. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah, like
look at each other more than 2 hours on the weekend.
Exactly. But like trying to explain that to somebody who's like on the outside, they're like, hold on, so y'all could do a 3-hour pod and have a 2-hour phone conversation? Yeah. 2 separate conversations. It's called compartmentalization.
And granted, I don't see Josh all the time. I spent 2 whole days with Josh Holsey. I mean, a day and a half. I got there about 6 o'clock. But
bro, I know how that shit goes because when I would drive down to see Josh Holsey, day one is us talking takes. We're not talking about life, girlfriends, why? We're not talking about none of the important shit. We're talking takes.
Then we might get into business-esque type stuff like he's trying to buy a house. We're talking about houses, what he bought. What you know what I mean? Then
like
it's just a casual and typically in our case this past weekend, somebody that we went to school with hung out with us. We ran a trap. His cousin Everin.
How's his beard? How's his mustache? It was heavy.
That nigga, bro, he looks like a Western cowboy. That's because he wears a cowboy hat. He's a bouncer at a place. And like
Trap confuses me. He's
I
my
swear
guy.
to God, bro. He's still man.
I rock with him, but he confuses me.
That nigga is the most in shape nigga I know. At least I tell you what, he's I don't know what his running's like, but
yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah. Offensive player of the year. And this almost goes hand in hand with MVP, but you know what? It's odd because it can go to somebody else. Because like I said, that's why I was like, did Cooper Kupp win that last year? And I think he did. I'm going to ride the train with you here on this one because he's not my MVP, but I also don't have them making the playoffs. Lamar Jackson's going to put up monster stats. I just don't think they'll have a winning record. They'll go 9-8 and just won't make the playoffs. So give me Lamar, offensive player of the year.
Offensive player of the year. Here's where I'm torn because I think John Taylor is going to go crazy because he's going to have a real quarterback for the first time in his career. But I also
depends on what type of numbers Matt puts up. If Matt goes,
Matt's throwing
Matt before this season, and he was very close again to 4,000.
He's gonna be close.
2028 and like 12.
Matt's gonna be
winning offensive player of the year, but like Jonathan Taylor also isn't gonna have to run for 1,800 yards and 20 touchdowns. He's gonna be more 1,500. Plus, remember they got who's the backup?
Nyheim Hines.
Nyheim Hines. Now he's more a receiving back, but he's going to have 300 yards rushing too, and 5.
OPOY is going to be weird. I think it's going to be the second quarterback who doesn't win MVP because
either Josh Allen or
I think the media colludes on these awards. I think it's
Justin Herbert, of course, is going to be a favorite for a lot. You know that the most tickets have come in on Russell Wilson to win MVP this year.
Why?
I don't know. I guess people are behind them to win that to make some noise just in general because he can't win MVP in my opinion. If maybe he doesn't have to win the division, but he needs to win like 11 games. So a guy that wins MVP's got to win 11 games.
Let me tell you what. My high school, their starting quarterback did that whole little Russell Wilson video shit that he did. And it sickened me. And
you got to stop this Russell Wilson hate, man.
I'm coming back to the program to hang out for a little while. But I'm eventually going to be a hang around or a booster of my former high school, a legal booster. I'm going to do everything by the book, by the rules. But look here, we're not going to be doing this corny Russell shit. We're going to be big trust round now.
Okay, so you got him. So that's clearly your MVP pick too.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you got him winning the whole thing.
Yeah, no, bro. I'm Lamar. Like Lamar.
No way if he's winning that division and they're that good.
Back against the wall. Contract year. Nah, I'm him.
MVP.
If I'm him.
He breaking serious record. He's getting baseball contract.
Bro, that's how I feel because, bro, here's how I feel about us, Parlay Pete, right? If we actually can find what we do into segments and we like sit down every day and talk our takes out before we do the show. And I go, hey, I'm gonna hit this hot take right here. And then you tell me, hey, this segment, I'm with the hot take right here. And we actually talk through our takes and we create our own hot takes for our show to make it like go do numbers because we're actually on the radio.
Yeah.
Nigga, who cares about Skip and Shannon? I promise you I'm better. I'm better than Skip, and you're better than Skip. I can't say either one of us are better than Shannon because
Shay played in the league.
Not even that. Shay talks shit. He talks shit. But Skip can't talk shit.
Hey, I got my brown just like that nigga does, okay?
Yeah, I got my tequila. Damn his brown. I got my Quilla. You know what I'm saying? And I'm saying out to say that, like, if we actually decide to come up with like a super scripted show where we decide to do hot takes,
you're wrong.
and we could do that whole thing,
Motherfucker.
and it would work. Like, how could you say that Matt Ryan is the best quarterback of all time when Michael Vick beat Brett Favre in Lambeau?
And then we phone in this bias ass Julian Turn, and he's like, Matt Ryan's what? Some shit like that. It definitely could.
Like, we could do the first take thing if we actually wanted to.
We are giving way too much to this pod. Let me give you my, because you got
we are.
You got Lamar winning MVP.
I'm cutting it into two.
All right. Lamar.
Okay.
Is not my MVP. He's my OPOY. I just think that he will put up the video game numbers. MVP. Now, these are the two betting favorites, too. And they're who I have in the Super Bowl, which is always an indicator of the Super Bowl, right? But it never works out that way.
Brady. Allen.
I got Brady. I really think that Brady rides off.
Bro.
I think he caps the career like in a completely because that's the reason he came back. He's going to cap his career in a way that nobody else has, and he's going to get Super Bowl MVP.
Brady?
Like, everybody's just going to be astonished. He's going to go out like we thought Jordan did in 98. Jordan didn't even win MVP that year, though. Malone did, I believe.
Malone
Who won 98?
did?
I know Malone won 2. Did he win back-to-back? Hold on.
You gotta look that up.
Let me just pull up Michael Jordan real quick. Because as long as it doesn't say 98 MVP, he did fucking win in 98. Jordan won league MVP, finals MVP, and the championship his final year. Brady's coming for Jordan. That's what he wants to do. They're going to have the best record. The year before Malone won, though.
I'm not sure if it'll happen, but I won't argue with it because I think it can happen.
And that hurts me as a Falcons fan to say, too.
Bro, but Brady's him. Like, he got the great Botox. He got the great all that. Like, you didn't go to the Brady Falcons game at home last year.
I did.
I went to that game thinking that it was his last game in Atlanta, and I watched how him and Gronk just had their way with us like we were 13-year-old virgins, and he was R. Kelly.
And remember, we got either a strip sack fumble touchdown or a pick six or something to end that half. I remember sitting here watching.
Yeah. You were at Hooters where we almost got shot.
Yeah, because that was after that game that you came.
Yeah,
unbelievable, man. These people
brought my little cousin. My little cousin sitting there like, well, I thought you Morehouse niggas was like upstanding. Like, bro, we are.
Well, that nigga wasn't a Morehouse nigga. He went to Morehouse, but that ain't a nigga that graduated either. He was still there, and he was there when we were there. So, look, everybody's got their own path of getting that done. But at the same time,
when you
there's a
he carried a pistol to Hooters
going on in between.
Yeah, exactly.
He still plagued him today.
But hey, Parlay Pete, this was fun.
This was fun. This might be the longest pod we've done.
It's the longest we've done in a while. But
this makes up for 2 weeks.
Huh?
We didn't do one last week.
Yeah, we didn't do anything for last week. That's why I'm gonna chop it into 2. I'll drop one Thursday morning, and I'll drop the other one like Saturday, Sunday morning, because we're still gonna come back next week.
Exactly.
Are you good for Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday next week?
I'm good. Whichever one works best for you. I'll be good for that. The business stuff, I will be doing business next week, but I'll be good for either or, because either if it's whatever works best for you.
Bro, just text me which works best because it will control what I do on my own, because we're dropping 2 this week. So I can like play with the time. Like, so if we do a Thursday, I'm gonna record on Tuesday because I'm gonna drop 2 of us. But like if you gotta do Wednesday, I'm still gonna record by myself on Monday.
Okay.
But
I'll let you know tomorrow. If not, definitely Friday.
All right, bet. Hey, don't hang up yet. I gotta tell you a couple quick things before when we get off air. Thank you guys for watching. Yeah, long show.